Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!
I'm Georgia playing, woo! You listen what the general tell you now!
not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Hey, how about you shut the up? I'm doing Lou too, bitch.
Oh my God, breaking news. Breaking news. Oh my God. Live on Uncle Lou After Dark, breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're sitting down. Trevor Lawrence is chopstick sick. I may know more than I know about it. But anyway, that's what's going on. Hopefully he's okay. All jokes aside. They'll beat Boston College this weekend without him. I don't think anybody doubts that. I think they could probably beat Notre Dame without him. But that's not really the point. Yeah, I hope he's not sick. I like watching great college football players play college football. I like watching Trevor Lawrence play. He had his worst game last week, but he's been on fire really the last half of last season and so far this season, and he's just been a lot of fun to watch. And listen, you know, it's like when Saban popped positive heading into the Georgia game. That didn't make me happy. When there's a big game, and even though I know you hate Notre Dame and they're no good and they're overrated, I know how you feel. It's one of the biggest games of the year in the ACC. It maybe the biggest, Clemson at Notre Dame. And you want everybody to play, don't you? I do. I wanted Saban on the sidelines in the Georgia-Alabama game. I want everybody to play. I hope he's back for that game. I hate that he's having to miss any time at all. But, what can you do? These are the rules. These conferences made these rules. They are what they are. It doesn't matter whether we agree or disagree. That's completely pointless. The rules are what they are. He's out 10 days. I don't know when he tested positive. That'll be a key piece of information, though, for sure. But appreciate all y'all tuning in this evening. This is Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. I do this show 2 nights a week, year-round, every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And we talk college football for an hour or so. I take phone calls. A couple of you on hold already, it looks like. Don't forget the morning show, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m. with me and BVD. Tomorrow morning, Mukbang Chess Hall. I repeat, tomorrow morning, Mukbang Chess Hall if he shows up. So about a 50% chance that we do Mukbang Chess Hall tomorrow morning. I sent him a case of fortune cookies and a kimono. He has to wear the kimono, and that's it. And eat as many fortune cookies as he can in 10 minutes. He has to read the fortune, eat the cookie. Read the fortune, eat the cookie. He's got to do as many as he can in 10 minutes. It should be great. Make sure you guys tune in for that in the morning show, 8 a.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, every week, year-round. And tomorrow, Friday, Mukbang Chess Hall. You don't want to miss it. Let's get some people on the phone here and figure out what it is you guys want to talk about tonight. 706-786-4481 is the number if you want to be on the show. 706-786-4481. A couple of super chats. Gator Zone, thank you for hitting the super chat this evening, sir. I really appreciate you supporting the show. That's what keeps these things going. He says, who has Michael Myers played? Jason beat a top 10 Freddy Krueger. Myers played in that weak-ass Thorn conference and plays babysitters in the non-con. No lies detected there. I'm going to be honest. And he's slow, too. Real slow. He's slower than Jake Fromm, to be honest. Noah Sheldon, thank you for the super chat. He says Georgia Southern is playing. Yes, they are. They're playing South Alabama. Another game comes on later, and there's an NFL game on, too, the Falcons and the Panthers. You don't have to watch that game. The Falcons, I'm sure, will be leading at halftime and then lose the game somehow in the second half. You don't have to worry about it. I'm pretty confident that that's what will happen. I'm pretty confident. What's the second game? Fresno State and Fresno State and Colorado State. I think that comes on at 10 right now. Fresno State was about a 3 or a 3.5 point underdog in that one, but I think they can win the game. They got smoked last week. Fresno State did against Hawaii, but that was a glitch in the matrix. At least I hope it was. I took Fresno State. So anyway, that's what's going on. Tonight. Let me post this real quick in the comments, and then I will get to the phone calls. I don't think there's anything else I'm forgetting to say or do. I know these morning announcements get tiresome, but it has to be done. It has to be done. I'm sorry. It has to be done. That's what it just is. What it is. Here's the link to the PayPal for anybody that doesn't mind taking the extra step. If you want to support the show and make sure Uncle Lou gets 100% of your support without YouTube stealing half, there you go. Now let's get to the phone call, see what they're talking about. Good morning, though. You're on with Uncle Lou, though.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. It's Coy down here in Gator Country.
Of course it is. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, listen, I kind of hate to start the show off like this. I'm officially sounding the alarm over this Kentucky game. As it gets closer, I don't like it. You may think I'm insane there. Does Kentucky lead the country in interceptions? They got to be way up there at the top somewhere.
Yeah, well, they had 9 in a 2-game period, so that helps. I actually think Arkansas leads the country, though. Or maybe maybe they lead the country in overall turnovers. But, yeah, Kentucky's up there, no doubt. They had, I think, 4 against Tennessee, and they had 5 the week before that against Mississippi State. So 9 in a 2-week period.
Right. And
but I got some good news for you.
What's that?
We're not throwing the ball in this game.
Well, you may be right.
Turtle shell routine. Kirby's putting his conservative cape on. We're running the ball up the middle a bunch of times and winning by 27.
Well, I understand your frustration at that, but that may be the best case scenario in this game.
Yes.
We got Mighty Mouse back there who's not afraid to launch the ball into triple coverage on a regular basis.
On the regular basis. You said it. That's right. Multiple times a game.
It came out some time ago that they're going to go ahead and unleash Joey Gatewood for this game as well.
That's right. That was that announcement was made earlier too. Now that's good news for us too. I'm telling you right now, giving a quarterback their first real college experience against the Georgia defense is not a good idea. It's not. Look what happened to Tennessee's Shrout and Maurer. Pruitt put those 2 guys in last year against Georgia, and you haven't seen them since. I mean, they have PTSD. They ruined them, and this isn't going to work out well for Joey Gatewood. And I like Joey Gatewood. I think he's better than Bo Nix, but giving him his first start, his first real action like this against this defense, I don't think is a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right. I do want to say, in all of your shows, I don't disagree with anything you've said about Kirby and the quarterback situation. Something's broken there, obviously. Here's what I don't want. I don't want 15 years of it, if you know what I mean.
Agree.
If this continues and we're always close but no cigar, we've been there before. And our last coach should have been cut at least 4 years before he actually was. I don't want this to go on where we're second fiddle for 15 years like we just did this previous coaching staff. So I know that sounds crazy, and a lot of teams would kill to be Georgia. I understand that. But those teams aren't hearing the 1980 stuff 14,000 times a day. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So, anyway,
and I agree.
That's all I got. I'm frustrated as you are.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to be nervous about this Kentucky game. Just letting you know.
I understand. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I think it would take something like what happened in the South Carolina game last year for us to lose this one, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's see. Moving right along. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, good morning, Lou,
Yes.
and two, and also.
In addition to that as well, yes.
So, yeah. So I'm basically just gonna let some steam out for on these dumbass Disney dogs.
Yeah. You called the right number.
A couple of days ago, it became almost borderline impossible for me to, get behind Kirby. I love the guy, all he's done for us, but I mean, this guy literally went on the Feinbaum show and said that you can't base our, Stetson's whole, game experience off, one game. But this guy pulled the Juan Mathis for a quarter and a half, and we haven't seen the guy since.
Well, yeah,
So
and this is Kirby's problem. Kirby thinks, I guess Kirby thinks a win means the quarterback is fine. Like, because he keeps going on and on about this. Oh, you can't base it off of one game. No one is basing this off of one game. I mean, Stetson Bennett was 5'8" against Arkansas too, was he not? He didn't grow, did he? Yeah. I mean, he didn't suddenly get short against Alabama. So it has nothing. This is why people like me, and I'm assuming you, bitch and moan when we can't score in the first half against Arkansas. And I could care less that we beat Arkansas 37-10. I could care less we beat Tennessee 44 to whatever it was. We didn't play in the first half. Auburn, we didn't play in the second half. These things piss me off. It has nothing to do with the score and whether we win or lose. And then look what happens when you play Alabama. So Kirby needs to get over this thing. Oh, the fans just think because we lost now the quarterback's no good. No. Fans were thinking this when you put him in. We're like, we didn't know what the hell was going on when you put him in to start with. So I agree with you. I don't expect Kirby to come out and throw his own quarterback under the bus or anything like that, but the constant, I don't even know what to call it, patting on the head of terrible quarterbacks at UGA by Kirby Smart is just embarrassing at this point. You know what it reminds me of? I think it was it Tony Romo that was getting hammered in the media 10 or 15 years ago, and Terrell Owens came out after the game and gave a press conference, and he started crying, and he said, "That's my quarterback." Who remembers that? I think it was Tony Romo. That's Kirby Smart. That's Kirby Smart. That's my quarterback. I mean, all he's missing is a fake tear rolling down his eye. That routine is just getting old to me, to be honest.
Right, and I was going into this bye week, and we've said this many times. Good coaches go into the bye week, and they make drastic changes, particularly when you have a bad loss to Bama like that. And we're going out of the bye week the same way we came in. And I went into this bye week, hoping Kirby would finally get it in the head. But, I mean, it's just frustrating, And then there's these dumbass Disney dogs who say, oh, well, we're not in practice with Kirby. He knows what he's doing. I mean, obviously he hasn't. This isn't just a 3-week, 4-week stretch.
Right.
No, this has been going back
for years.
2017.
Yes, thank you.
Exactly.
You're right.
And then you have these other, dumbass dog fans saying, oh, this is 2017 where we get our asses beat by an Alabama team, Auburn. And, we see them again in the SEC championship, and we're going to get them. We're going to get them in the SEC championship. I'm like, no, not with Stetson Bennett as our quarterback.
Right.
Definitely not. We may not even make it to the SEC championship for all who know.
Let's be honest, is winning the SEC title really our ultimate goal at this point? Not that it wouldn't be nice to do. And think about the quarterback we would face in the SEC title game versus the quarterbacks we would be facing in the playoffs. I mean, Mac Jones is good. Let's give the guy some credit. He ain't Trevor Lawrence and he ain't Justin Fields, though. So, beating Alabama would be great. Winning the SEC would be great. But what about after that? I mean, it's just, I agree. I don't know what's going on. This is just like 2018. Fromm got his doo-doo pushed in against LSU. We had a bye week. Everybody said, oh, this is it. It's time to make the change. We're going to see Justin Fields. We came out against Florida, and Justin Fields never stepped foot on the field. And I have a feeling you're going to see something like that on Saturday. Stetson Bennett will play the entire game. He'll have a good game. He'll go 14 for 18, dinking and dunking all day long. And, the half of the fan base that's happy to beat Vandy by 1 point, will be all over the place with the "I told you so" routine, and it won't mean anything. It'll be a meaningless win. The best case scenario right now, since we all know Stetson Bennett is starting, The best case scenario now is that we get out to a huge lead. He takes Stetson out in the second half and puts another quarterback in the third quarter and actually lets him play quarterback. That's really the best thing we can hope for at this point. But because I don't know I don't know how many losses it's going to take for Kirby to get through his head. Do you think Kirby ever watches other football games? I'm not talking about studying film. Do you think? I don't know if he just sits around and watches a game. Look at these quarterbacks. Look at these offenses. I mean, Nick Saban comes out and says straight up, no riddles, no nothing. He says offense wins. Now that's Nick Saban. Why can't Kirby get on the same page? I don't understand. I don't get it. This is not 2010. Okay, we had the best defense in America last year, and every time we played a good offense, they scored 40 points, and the same thing will happen this year. You got to score.
One last thing, Lou, before I let you go.
Right.
I know you have other callers, but it makes it more frustrating, the fact that we're now basically the last team stuck in the ice age, in the Stone Ages, because Wisconsin and Michigan, and you had all these other teams that kind of felt the same way as us.
Yep.
But now it's basically just Georgia stuck in the Stone Ages, so that's even more frustrating. But I'll let you go, Lou. I know you have more callers, and I love the show, and good morning and that.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for the call. And great point about Wisconsin. I mean, as frustrated as I've been with Georgia's quarterback situation, if you would have asked me a month ago who will get a real quarterback first, Georgia, Wisconsin, or Michigan, I still would have said Georgia. But it turned out that wasn't the case. Both Wisconsin and Michigan found somebody and was willing to play him before we ever did. Now, maybe we should slow down on Wisconsin a little bit, because they weren't going to start that guy. They were going to start Cone again, the same guy that played last year. But he got hurt, and so they had to start Mertz. And then Graham Mertz lit it up, 20 of 21, 5 touchdowns, and so that was that. But they weren't going to play him. They were going to play the vanilla ice cream guy again. Yeah. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Ludo.
How's it going, Lou? It's Bluegrass Sports Media. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm in fact, I couldn't be doing any I couldn't be doing any better.
Say y'all again. Meet us at Kroger Field. Uncle Lou, meet us at Kroger Field.
I'm more than ready. I just played it, sir.
Well, so here's my prediction for the game.
All right.
Kirby's gonna trot Stetson Bennett out there.
Yep.
He's going to turn the ball over 3 times, and we're going to beat you 10-7 because we can't score. That's the only way I see us winning.
That's what it would take. It would take 3 or 4 turnovers. I think what's going to happen is the same thing that happens every other time Georgia plays an inferior team, which is we're going to line up, run the ball down Kentucky's throat. There's not going to be anything they can do about it. Kentucky will barely cross the 50-yard line, and Georgia will win somewhere around the neighborhood of 31-10.
I need Stetson Bennett to go back to JUCO Stetson Bennett and turn the ball over. That's what I need.
Yeah, well, I mean, you may be in luck. I mean, that's what he did. That's what he did against Alabama for sure. So, and I mean, y'all are no slouch in the secondary when it comes to picking off balls. So, I mean, 2 or 3 turnovers can change any game around. But I do think that's what it would take for Kentucky to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not that delusional that I think we win it without any turnovers. But
yeah. Now maybe Joey Gatewood shows up and throws for 300 yards or whatever. Hard to see that happening, but it's possible, I guess. He doesn't give you the running around stuff as well as Terry Wilson did, but I'm convinced he's a much better passer of the ball than Terry Wilson.
That is true, and I agree with that too. But at the same time, I don't think we have the weapons on the outside to compete with your secondary, really. I think our best receiver is Josh Ali, and I don't think he plays at Georgia or any other team in the SEC besides maybe the lower tier teams.
Yeah, ain't gonna be no Lynn Bowden walking on that field this year, is it?
Nope, there is not.
Yeah.
We thought Terry Wilson was him for some reason. We ran him like he was Lynn Bowden.
Yeah.
But turns out he's not as fast as he used to be. But so I think Lawrence has got coronavirus. So who's their starter? Is it the ukulele?
The ukulele. Yeah, the tiny guitar or whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's the future, so maybe obviously there's going to be a drop off, but He's supposed to be the future.
I mean, the good news is if you're Clemson, you're playing one of the worst teams in the ACC in Boston College, and you have the best running back in all of football, Travis Etienne. He's a quarterback's best friend. I don't think I mean, this could be a blessing in disguise. Gives this guy some quality playing time in a real game, in the first half when it's still competitive. And God forbid Lawrence were to get hurt or something or actually have to miss some meaningful games later in the year. The experience Ukulele gets in this game could help him down the road. But I don't expect Clemson to struggle in this game at all.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, they could literally turn around and hand the ball to Etienne and for 30 times and win this game by 40.
Yeah, I agree.
He's just the best. He's the best back in the country.
He's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I want to talk a little bit about I'm a Falcons fan. I'm almost pretty much a masochist.
Yeah. I hear you.
I think the Falcons should have went and hired Joe Brady yesterday. It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, I guess you can't pull him right now, but I think they should hire him when they get the chance.
Well, isn't he the head coach of the Panthers?
No, he's the offensive coordinator of the Panthers.
Oh.
Matt Rule's the head coach.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. Yeah. Yeah, because he'll be a head coach at some point, I think.
Yeah, I think you get him, and then you draft. Well, you're probably gonna have a top 3 pick, so you can get this. I can't believe his name's blanking me.
Fields or Lawrence or the guy from North Dakota State.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin Fields. You can get Justin Fields, put him behind Matt Ryan for a year, let him develop, and there you go.
Yeah. Well, one thing's for sure: whoever the Falcons hire, it's likely to be the wrong guy. But thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah, Falcons not a great history there with decision making. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. It's Nathan Wade. Don't be late, a.k.a. Nate Hinkson. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, sir. How are you?
Pretty good.
That's good.
Oh, by the way, earlier today I played bocce ball for the first time.
Did you win?
If you know. I won actually.
But let me ask you this, though. What? Let me ask you this: Who did you play?
I play with my friends that has disabilities and stuff.
Well, shit, you ain't played nobody.
Oh, it was just for fun. It's for like a Special Olympic game. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I think Michigan. I won't say Michigan and Michigan State battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy, and I think it's. Well, I hope it's well, but I think it's gonna be like I'm gonna predict like 49-13. Yeah,
49-13.
Yeah,
that's a massacre.
If that, I mean, if I get it right, I might celebrate. Yeah. Actually, for the Penn State and Ohio State game, I don't know. I think Ohio State's gonna pull it off like 34-21. I think
34-21. That would be 13 points. That would make a lot of people happy.
Well, I know I'm not an Ohio State fan, but would that be a realistic score?
That's a realistic score. That sounds about okay. That sounds fair.
Yeah. All right. I'll one more thing to say before I get off. One thing I was gonna say, Lou, I love you, man, and I'm just happy to be part of your community, and I'm really happy that I subscribe to you. You're my friend.
Nate, you're my friend. You're my friend too, but we love you too. We love having you call in every Tuesday and Thursday, and I mean that. So it was good to hear from you.
Okay.
I hope you have a good weekend. I hope your teams win, Nate, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday. Okay.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Have a good weekend.
Let me get all up in there good.
Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. This is Will. How you doing?
Will, I'm doing great, sir. But how are you doing, though?
I'm doing good, except for the whole storm that came through overnight in Georgia.
Ah, yes. We actually had a little bit of wind and rain here as well, sir. But I'm
Well, I'm more north of you, so
yeah.
I,
Right.
I got more of the damage. Like 2 of my trees fell down in my backyard. It was awful.
Yeah, that's not good. We had a couple of lawn chairs get flipped over, but we're gonna rebuild tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I know how you've been upset about the whole Georgia quarterback situation, and I'm
A little
with
bit.
you. It's
Yeah.
honestly starting to frustrate me.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of this whole there's no plan bull crap,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. You sound pretty upset. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
am because it's been going on. It's been going on for weeks now. How long has it been going on? Since
It's been
the
going on
beginning
for
of the season,
it's
right?
been going on for years. Been going on for years.
Yeah, like Kirby needs to make up his mind. He needs to stop with this whole there's no plan thing.
Yeah. Well, the plan is there is no plan, and that's painfully obvious to everyone with a set of working eyes, ain't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope he gets this thing. They got to get it sorted out at some point.
One would assume that they would. But do you know what the best indicator of future behavior is?
No, I do not actually.
Past behavior. Thank you for the call.
Oh.
And have a good morning. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle. What's going on?
I'm just doing a call-in show. What's up with you?
Nothing much.
Okay.
I would like to talk about Trevor Lawrence, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
Getting the coronavirus.
Yes. He does have COVID-19 confirmed.
What is your thoughts on that?
On Trevor Lawrence, on the coronavirus, or on Trevor Lawrence having the coronavirus?
What do you think, his estimated time is? They said 10 days, but
Yeah, that's not an estimate. That's a fact. That's the ACC guidelines. He's got to separate for 10 days. The only thing we don't know is what day he tested positive. Was it today? Was it yesterday? Was it the day before? Because they got Notre Dame in 9 days. That's the issue.
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm pretty sure Dabo's trying to figure out how to backdate. I'm pretty sure they're working on a way to backdate stuff. But I mean, I hope he can play. I like to see the best players play every game, but especially a big game like that, you want to see the best players play. And the main thing, we don't want anybody to be sick. And unlike Nick Saban, he is sick. Trevor Lawrence. He's got. According to Trevor Lawrence, he's got mild symptoms. I don't know what those are, if it's a fever and a headache or what, but so that's the most important thing. But it's the selfish part of me being a college football fan. I just like to watch him play football. He's a hell of a football player.
Right. And you all have Kentucky this weekend, correct?
Yes, we do have Kentucky. We're meeting them at Kroger Field.
So I think it was like 2 callers ago.
Yes.
The kid was talking about Joey Gatewood.
Yes.
What was that about?
Yes, Joey Gatewood has been named a starter for Kentucky this week.
Really?
Really. I'm serious.
Wow.
Yes. So we'll see what he can do. He can throw the ball better than Terry Wilson. He doesn't have much experience, and I'm not sure how smart it is to start a QB with not a lot of experience in the middle of the season against Georgia's defense.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like I said, J.T. Shrout and Maurer, whatever that guy's name is, those two quarterbacks for Tennessee that they put in the game against Georgia last year, those guys haven't slept at night since that game.
Yeah.
They have PTSD. They have PTSD. They have night terrors. They get the shakes. They sweat real bad. They have the runs, and their feet hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in. It was good to hear from you, sir. I hope you enjoy your weekend and have an even better morning, too. And also, thank you. Appreciate that. What are we doing? Who's here today? What is this? I swear, man. When is GameStop just going to go out of business? What are they doing? I pre-ordered the PlayStation 5 the day it came out. And GameStop always has a con. They always have a con. Well, the con was we're sold out of just the PS5. All we have is the bundle. The PS5 I think was $500, and then the bundle was $800 and something, and whatever it comes with. Okay, fine. I'll get that. Well, and this was online, by the way. So I bought it. Well, they don't charge you. Then they charge you, they say, when they ship it. Well, it doesn't come out till November 12th. Well, I log into PayPal, and there's two charges from GameStop, one for $33.86, one for $79.02. Now, that's great, but what did I buy for what's 80 plus 30? 110, 130. What did I buy for $113? Two separate transactions, $33.86 and $79.02. Well, that's not $800 and something dollars. What do you and the game's not coming out. It's a miracle GameStop is still in business. It really is. It's a miracle. Jace Bishop, thank you for tuning in this evening, sir. Brian, Glittergator, Roberto LeBron. Let's see. 4 people on hold. We'll get right back to the phone calls in a second. Snake Spence, Jordan Bowman, number 1 Notre Dame fan, REAGAN and 10. Matt Sims is here. Between the Trenches is here. Luke Walker. D4 Sports, what's up, buddy? Vivek Bhagava is that what is that? Vivek Bhagava Spatula. Again, I didn't name you, so keep that in mind when you find yourself getting upset at the fact that I pronounced your name wrong. Why Won't You Die is here. I'm invincible though. Mike Biederman, RB Smata, Ryan Burchett, Shannon Mitchell, Poppy Chulo is here. Noah Sheldon, Tiny Tanto, Clemson Carson, Ben Arnold, Michael McClintock, Clint Eastwood. My God, sir, what are you doing up this late? You're like 80-something years old, man. Go to bed. Sad FSU fan. You got to change your name to Miserable, bro. Tate Martell's third swing. Where you been? Been hiding, man. Been hiding. Hunter Waldrop is here. Corey Scott, typical Auburn fan. Dependent fanatic. What are you dependent on? Celine Driver is here. He says, why am I up this late? Yeah, you're old too. Go to bed, King of the Jews. Oh, God. Roberto LeBron. Appreciate all y'all tuning in this evening. Great weekend of games coming up this weekend. A couple of games on now, an NFL game on. Falcons trying to figure out a way to blow a lead again. We'll see if they can do it. Back to the phones. See what they're talking about. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. It's Bryson Morgan.
Yes, it is. Good morning, sir.
Hey, just asking a question. Do you reckon, or do you happen to remember my brother Christian Morgan, who wouldn't answer the phone for you?
No.
The Georgia Tech nerd.
I vaguely remember something about it, but I don't really remember what the last caller said, to be honest.
Well, he thinks that you hang up the phone on Georgia Tech fans. Is that true?
No.
No, you don't hang up the phone on Georgia Tech fans?
No, I hang up the phone on anybody who's too stupid to work a phone. If that happens to be your brother, then so be it. And I have a pretty good feeling that that's the case. The guy, you know, I'm sure the guy can work a graphing calculator, but he can't call into an internet show. You know, I guarantee you he's socially awkward. He's got more Pokemon cards than he does friends. I mean, I know how these people operate.
Yeah, Lou. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I'm sure he's a good guy and all, but everything I said is 100% accurate, though.
Oh, God. That's funny. Well, I'm not that big of a. I'm a big Georgia Tech fan, but I also like Ohio State because I went to the same high school as Justin Fields did, actually.
Oh,
Harrison High School.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I watched him. He was #1 in the country.
Yes, he was.
We watched him play. At our high school. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And now watching him. Yeah.
Does he ever come back
crazy,
around? Does he ever come?
but,
Does he ever come back around there? Like show up at a game or whatever?
He lives in a neighborhood near me, and it's a little bit far, but he'll come around and he'll come to the Harrison games sometimes.
Yeah.
And he'll come over but he'll kind of like sit by himself, kind of like they kind of like reserve some stuff. He'll come see the fans sometimes, but they kind of like when he does go there, he'll have his own area. Or he'll sit up where like the sports, the announcers kind of sit up there. He'll sit up there with them sometimes, and sometimes he'll come down by the fields. But yeah, it's really cool watching him play at Ohio State now, considering that Georgia gave him up.
Right.
Because I hate Georgia.
Threw him
love
away.
Ohio State.
Yeah, they threw him away.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, Lou?
Oh, I'm not too happy about it. It could be worse, though. It could be worse. We could be stuck with Jeff Sims.
Lou! Jeff Sims is better than Simpson. Lou!
Hey,
it's not funny.
Is it true Jeff Sims threw 3 turnovers just while you've been on the phone with me?
Lou! Yeah, why is Georgia not playing Georgia Tech? They opted out of the game. I wonder why, Lou.
SEC rules had nothing to do with Georgia, but y'all should be lucky. That's one less loss.
Maybe, but if you guys play Ohio State, we all know who's winning that game, right?
Well, when your own team can't get the job done, the best thing to do is swing from the nut of the other team, the buck nut in this case.
No, Lou. He went to my high school. I want to cheer for him either way.
Well, he played. He played for my college team, so I want to cheer for him too. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't troll me. You can't. I mean, you sound like you've probably been listening to me long enough to know you can't troll me on Justin Fields. We're idiots. What we did to Justin Fields was criminal. I mean, you got to find one of these inbred racist Georgia fans that thinks Justin Fields can't read a playbook. Troll one of them. You can't troll me on that. I think it's the dumbest thing. It might be the biggest. It's probably the biggest personnel blunder in college football history. What we did to Justin Fields. So I mean, there's nothing. I agree with anything you want to say about how bad we did on that. I mean, I've been saying it since it happened.
I heard you talking about PS5, Lou. Have you heard the NCAA might be coming back? The NCAA games might be coming back.
Yeah, if they can get the licensing
You gonna
stuff
play
worked out, yeah. That's probably still a couple of years away. They can't even start paying the players until I think 2021 or 2022, and then it'll probably take a year or so to develop the game and work out the licensing fees and all that. But I'm hopeful that eventually they'll bring it back.
I could probably beat you with Georgia Tech if you played with Georgia.
Yeah, well, we can play anytime. I mean, what do you have NCAA 14?
Of course.
All right. Well, anytime you want to learn how to play, just let me know.
All right, Lou. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Appreciate the call, nerd. Nanu,
right,
yeah, Nanu, and whatever. I don't know any Star Trek phrases. What do we got here? Oh yeah. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. A long-time supporter, long-time listener, first-time caller. This is Tate Martell's third, fourth swing, or whatever he's on.
Yes. This is
you wanted to know where I was.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in the comments in a while.
Well, it's tough being a fan of a team in the Big Ten these days.
Yes. Okay. I got you. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
But I wanted to thank you for that video you made yesterday. Highly recommend it to everybody. The Big Ten video.
Right.
It's just been a mess.
Yeah.
And you hit every nail on the head. So thank you for putting it out there. They had a great opportunity this morning to help the teams in the Big Ten, but Nebraska fan, played, and it was a long shot, but we tried to get, I think, Tennessee, Chattanooga this weekend.
Right.
But of course, Big Ten said no, and so it just, what's this going to do when Ohio State? This is going to happen to every team in the Big Ten. It was stupid.
I think so
like
too.
You said, to do this 9 games in 9 weeks.
Now, one thing I don't understand, because the rules are different in every conference. So, to the best of my knowledge, from what I read yesterday, 6 players on Wisconsin were positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, do they really, what? In other words, what I heard is that the Big Ten didn't tell Wisconsin they couldn't play. I don't know what the rules are in the Big Ten. And in the SEC, if you have 53 available players, you have to play the game, or you can apply to the league for a waiver to get the game moved.
Right.
It
My
seems like
understanding
you could
was they
play
were
with 6 players. Now, I understand it sucks for Wisconsin because they were already playing their second-string quarterback. Their third-string quarterback is injured, and their fourth-string quarterback also has coronavirus or whatever, so they had no quarterbacks or whatever. But, couldn't they have played if they wanted to? So, in other words, was it the Big Ten that said you can't play, or did Wisconsin say we don't want to play?
I believe it was Wisconsin that chose not to play because there's a yellow level, orange level, red level, and I think they went at the orange level.
Yeah.
But I got to say, much respect to Wisconsin. It's a great team, great players, great coaches, great fans. I hope everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Hope everybody comes out of this,
And just to make it clear, because I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea that maybe didn't see the video yesterday. I'm not upset with Wisconsin either way, whether they chose to cancel or whether the Big Ten made them. Everyone has had to go through this, whether it's them directly being infected or, in Georgia's case, Florida got infected, which affected them being able to play another game, which meant Georgia had to move its bye week. So even though Georgia didn't have any cases, it still everyone is going to be affected by this. My issue was that the Big Ten thought it would be a good idea to schedule 8 games in 8 weeks. That's what made no sense to me. And they have the most stringent testing guidelines and quarantine protocols and all that. So it almost seems like it's set up to fail.
Yeah, we had a great schedule on September 5th. I think by now, I threw that away in a fit of rage. I think by now we'd be almost done with what they had scheduled. But, they canceled 6 days later, and now we've got this garbage with the 8 games in 8 weeks, which nobody's going to be able to do. Yeah. And it just hurts teams like Ohio State. That's a hell of a team. And, what are they going to do if they only get 5 games in? So, Ohio State, if you're listening, lay it on some teams, run it up, I guess, because next week's game ain't guaranteed, you know?
Yeah, that's what it's going to force teams to do because, you know, what's Ohio State going to do at the end of the year if they're 5-0 and they have no more games to play? You know what I mean? They've got to try to impress the committee now. It's almost back to the old BCS days where the computers gave you extra points for margin of victory, you know? So you would have teams, if they could beat you 60-0, they would. You might see that from Ohio State.
And they've got the problem. Do you keep Justin Fields in the entire game to run up the score, to get style points, or do you protect him, his health for next week? It's just a mess.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, thanks a lot for the video. Studio looks great. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks. It was good to hear from you. I'm glad you called in.
Yep.
Let's see what's going on here. Tyler P., thank you for the super chat. He says, per Big Ten rules, if a team has more than 5% of players test positive, the team has to stop all activities. More than 5%. So 6 is pretty, let's see, 5%, that'd be 5 out of 100. There's 83 scholarship players, so I guess that's about 5% then. Brandon Wyatt, thank you for the super chat. UJ canceled spring break. What? Wait. First of all, I'm not sure what you mean. I have a lot of questions about that. I don't understand what you're saying. How can a school cancel someone else's vacation? I don't understand what you're saying. And spring break is 6 months away. 5 months away. I don't understand what you're saying when you say they canceled spring break. You mean they're going to have school that week instead of not having school? I mean, all spring break is for a college is no school for a week. So you're saying they are going to have school that week? I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying. Well, schools aren't on spring break now. It's fall. Spring break is in the spring? So maybe you mean they canceled fall break? Good idea. Spring break here is in the spring. Here it's in April. UJ, it's in March. I don't know what you mean. UJ canceled spring break. So now you have to go to school for that week in March instead of being out of school. Is that what you're saying? I mean, spring break is not now or next month or in December. That's not spring break. Timothy Casey, you're on the wrong channel to attempt that troll. I don't know if you're ignorant, uneducated, or both, or maybe just new here. Could be just new. A Falcons player just kicked Teddy Bridgewater. Like on purpose, out of frustration, or what? Law Tide, thank you for the super chat, sir. Oh, he tripped Teddy Bridgewater. Okay. That's a little different than kicking him, isn't it? If he tripped him and you say he kicked him, that's not really the same. It's like trying to tell somebody that spring break is in November. Yeah, it doesn't make, come on. Come on. Y'all gotta do better. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. I'm Caden. I'm a Florida fan.
Sorry about that.
My dad. Yeah, that's the truth. My dad's a Tennessee fan, and I kind of want to talk about a little bit of both.
What a miserable household.
Oh my God. I know, right? My dad.
How much Kleenex do y'all go through in a football season?
My dad burned his jersey of.
I like him. I like him already. I like him already.
Yeah, I remember it too. But yeah, I just have. What do you think? Because my dad was last year and the year before last, he was giving this entire hype of Pruitt Nation and Pruitt era, that Jerome Pruitt's going to take them to the promised land, and then they lose to Georgia State, and then they lose to BYU, and then I get this whole spiel about how they're going to take it. He's going to take them to the promised land, and they lose to Kentucky and all that. It's kind of funny because Tennessee has always been bad with getting coaches, because they had Butch Jones, now they have Pruitt, and it's amazing me how bad they are.
Yes.
But I was just wondering, who could have the Voltards picked up instead of Pruitt?
Greg Schiano. I mean, they hired Greg Schiano. They hired him. And the Tennessee fans boycotted on Twitter and went to the campus with picket signs and, this whole deal. And the university backed out of the deal with Greg Schiano. And now look, Greg Schiano, look what he's doing at Rutgers now. Yeah, done turned Rutgers around. Took him one game to do it. And meanwhile, Jeremy Pruitt's treading water here in year 3 at Tennessee. It's a damn shame is what it is.
Really is.
But there's really, I mean, they were out of options, to be honest. Now, they lie and say, well, Pruitt is who Fulmer really wanted. 8 coaches turned that job down. 8. And then they finally they tricked Schiano into taking the job, and then the fans to humanity, we're outraged, this kind of thing. And so they backed out of that deal and hired Jerome Pruitt, and then tried to convince everybody that's really who they wanted all along. No one wanted Pruitt, and no one wanted Tennessee. So it was a perfect match.
Perfect match. Well, I'm a Florida fan. I've been just dreading watching our defense. And everyone's saying fire Todd Grantham, and I'm kind of leaning toward it. But, I mean, Todd Grantham for the past 2 years had talent.
Right.
Now he doesn't have talent. And who's that on? Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen. He can coach with the best of them. He's a really good coach, but he sucks at recruiting.
He's not a great recruiter. You're right about that. And you're right to a certain extent about the talent, too. Florida is lacking. I've made this observation a couple of times. Florida, I mean, they've got a talented defense, but they don't have like that one guy up front that scares people. And you've had that in the last couple of years. I can't remember that defensive tackles or defensive ends name y'all had.
Grenard.
Yes, Grenard. I mean, you couldn't block that guy. You remember the game a couple of years ago where we ran 7 plays inside the 5-yard line and couldn't score against you?
Yeah.
I think he made 4 of the 7 tackles, like in a row right there. And I was like, can somebody block it? And he did that game in and game out. He was amazing. And then everybody knows the string of DBs you guys have had. You don't have a top-level lockdown corner guy, in my opinion. You got some good ones, but no one person at the level that you're used to having back there, and you don't have the game changer up front that you used to have. That part is true, but it's also true that you're not going to find many Georgia fans, myself included, who are going to take up for Todd Grantham. We had him. We didn't like him either. And so I do think it's partly his scheme, and it's partly what you mentioned, that they may be missing a few talented players in some key places. So I think it's a combination of the two.
But who do you think would be a good fit? People are saying, who's the head coach at Vanderbilt?
Derek Mason.
But he should be a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. He'll be out. I don't know if they'll fire him this year because of coronavirus, but I do think his days are numbered at Vandy. Same thing with Will Muschamp at South Carolina. He's another defensive genius. I don't know that Florida would hire him since he had a stint as a head coach there that went horribly wrong. Isn't Charlie Strong Charlie Strong's on, is it Alabama's staff? Charlie Strong is available.
I think.
He's somewhere. I think it's Alabama he's on. He's not an on-field coach, though. He's like an analyst or something because he's still getting paid from whatever job he got fired from last time. But so I don't know. And I'll be honest, I don't have like a list in my head of 10 available defensive coordinators or whatever. I can barely keep up with, who's on the short list of head coaching candidates. So I'm probably not the right guy to ask there, but I do think that in the long run, Todd Grantham is probably not cut out to be an SEC defensive coordinator.
One last thing.
Yeah.
If we lose to Missouri, we're gonna go like 6-4. We're not gonna be. Do you think that's true?
I'm trying to think. Obviously, I think that if you can't beat Missouri, you're likely to lose to Georgia. So that would be 3 losses. And then I'm trying to think who you have left to play after that. I know Kentucky, Vandy, and who else?
Arkansas, baby.
Arkansas. Now, that would be hilarious. I'm not going to lie. The funniest loss in all of college football would be if Florida lost to Felipe Franks. That would be hilarious. But even if you lose, I'm going to be honest, even if you lose to Mizzou, I think Florida's offense is too good to lose 4 games. I don't think you'll lose to Mizzou. I think it might be close just because for whatever reason, Mizzou seems to play y'all tough every year. Y'all are only 4-4 against Mizzou since they joined the SEC. So for whatever reason, they seem to have your number, but I don't see you losing. I think your offense is too good. I think worst case scenario, I think you go 8-2.
Yeah, good luck. You guys don't need it, but you're going to beat the pants off Kentucky.
Yeah, I think so too.
And Kentucky's going to have a wake up call.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you for the call, and I look forward to educating you and the rest of the Florida fans all next week. Should be fun. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Ludo.
How's it going, Uncle Lou?
Going great.
ND Fitz here.
ND who?
That's good, man. The last time ND Fitz.
Oh yeah, that's right. What's up, buddy?
I called several months ago, and I think I praised you on how you deal with McDonald's drive-through people.
Yes.
The quarter pounder.
Yes.
Still live by that, man. Still live by it. And I wanted to clear up too. I go to university in Michigan, to a college in Michigan, and we don't have any breaks at all during the fall semester.
Right. So no fall break.
Thanksgiving break, like everything has been, everything has been condensed into like 9 or 12 weeks, and then like we get out a little bit earlier.
Right.
I don't know if other colleges are doing that, but I imagine if
so you have no fall break.
Is canceled,
so no fall break is what you're saying. That makes sense. See, that makes sense to me. What you said there, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, I wanted to talk to you about I've been a Notre Dame fan my whole life, and we hear this rhetoric all the damn time. Join a conference, weak schedule, join a conference. The last 5 years, we've had, on average, the 15th top schedule. Twice we were in the top 10 for difficulty in schedule.
Yeah. And
this year, by the grace of COVID, we get pushed into a conference. We get pushed into the ACC. It's everybody's, it's Christmas for all college football fans because they get to see Notre Dame in the ACC for once. And now we have people on Twitter, we have sports analysts saying, "Hey, Notre Dame, the people that they've played so far, the FBS opponents are 6-22,
right,
in FBS play, and they got a watered down conference."
Well, you would agree you've played some bad teams this year.
Oh yeah. Okay, we have a watered down schedule.
Right.
It's worse
I think, at least for me anyway,
independent.
The thing about being in and not being in a conference is avoiding a 13th game that most likely would always be against a really, really good team. That's the benefit of not being in a conference. Y'all's schedule on a yearly basis is more difficult than the average ACC schedule lately because the ACC has been down. So y'all are playing Stanford and Southern Cal and an SEC team. You play Georgia twice. So y'all's schedule's been harder than the average ACC schedule. But then when everyone else has to play a 13th game against a top 5 or top 10 opponent, Notre Dame's sitting at home. That's my issue anyway with it. Not necessarily that.
And I understand that
in the conference. And you're only 4 or 5 games in. Let's see what happened. I mean, you almost lost to Louisville. So, let's see what happens the rest of the way.
It's true. Right. And what I would say, because what I usually say to combat that in a normal year is, if Notre Dame loses one game, right? If they lose one game, then in my opinion, they don't belong in the college football playoff.
And I
because
agree.
They don't play a conference game.
And unfortunately,
right?
that never happened. That's what I always wanted to happen. I wanted Notre Dame to go 11-1 and get left out of the playoff. Why did I want that? Because I thought that would push Notre Dame into a conference. Notre Dame would sit back and go, "This is ridiculous." Okay, we'll get in now. But it never happened. You guys always managed to lose a second game or go 12-0, in which case you would get in. And I think you deserve to get in when you're 12-0.
Mm-hmm.
It's every time that you've gotten in.
But
anyway,
would you say? But then I'd ask you: Is it easier to go 12-0? Is it easier to go 12-0 in a regular season schedule, or is it easier to go 11-1, lose your biggest game of the year, and then make up for it and win the conference championship, and then slide your way in?
Yeah, but
or
the
if you're in
question
Alabama
is,
and SEC,
the question is, take an average Notre Dame schedule. Let's say you go 11-1 and lose to a 12th ranked Southern Cal team, and you're sitting there at 11-1. Okay, great. What if you had to play Alabama next week to make the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? What if you had to play Stanford in week 11? What if you had to play Stanford in week 11, Southern Cal in week 12, your last regular season game, and you finished 11-1, and then in week 13, instead of sitting at home, you had to play Alabama for a chance to go to the playoffs? That would be harder. What if you had to play Clemson?
Yeah.
What if you had to play Ohio State? What if you had to play Georgia? What if you had to play Oklahoma? You'd be playing somebody like that in the 13th game every year, and that's what.
Right,
it's an extra hurdle.
In the SEC that a 2-loss team can get into the college football playoff. So
that's not true.
Notre Dame's in the SEC,
that's not, sir. That's inaccurate. That's inaccurate. A 2-loss team from the SEC has not made the college football playoff.
A 2-loss team lost the SEC championship, right? Alabama was a 2-loss team.
No, they didn't. They didn't make the SEC championship. They were 11-1.
I'm not talking about last year.
Sir, in 2017, Alabama was 11-1. They did not win the West. Auburn won the West and lost to Georgia in the SEC title game, and Georgia and Alabama made the playoffs. Alabama did not make the SEC title game. A 2-loss team has never made the playoffs.
A 2-loss team has never made it. Oh, okay. That's not bad then.
Yeah, never. But that's the thing. People just want to see Notre Dame in and to be honest, part of it is, it's an arrogance that Notre Dame has. I mean, that's just the whole we don't need a conference. People don't like that. People don't like that. Just telling you, they don't. People don't
but
like
wouldn't
that.
you rather be your own boss?
No.
I mean, look at the Big Ten. No. Look at the Big Ten, right? Like they had to start weeks late. They might not even have a season. They might not have a team make it to the college football season.
And if it wasn't
to abide,
and if it wasn't
conference play,
and if it wasn't for the good graces,
they didn't have a choice.
If it wasn't for the good graces, and honestly the sympathy that the ACC had for you, you'd be playing no Power 5 games this year. None. Zero.
Yeah, but I mean, the ACC was begging Notre Dame to come and play with them.
Well, you needed the ACC more than the ACC needed you this year. I mean, there's no doubt, no question about that. The ACC didn't need Notre Dame. The ACC has Clemson, a guaranteed playoff team. They didn't need you. They felt sorry for you. They did you a favor.
Why did the ACC sign a deal with Notre Dame to have Notre Dame play 4 ACC conference games? Like, they want Notre Dame to join the conference.
Well, I know they do. But Notre Dame won't do it because they're arrogant and stupid, mostly. I mean, well, let me ask you this. How is refusing to join a conference, how has that worked out for Notre Dame over the last 30 years? Can you tell me the last big win Notre Dame had?
Yeah, I can.
What is it?
2012 against Oklahoma. That's the last big win we've won, in my opinion.
And what bowl game was that?
It wasn't a bowl game. It was a regular season game. It was the 2012 season.
Yay! Yay! Notre Dame won a regular season game, sir. You haven't won a major bowl game since 1990.
No,
you're 0 for 9. You're 0 for 9. And you're 0 for 9 in BCS games and New Year's Six games.
The point that I want to make is that college football fans should want Notre Dame to stay to stay independent, because in my opinion, going 12-0 is harder. It's harder than going 12-0 is harder being independent to get into the college football playoffs. So I just don't understand why they can't just remain independent. I don't know why everybody.
If it's harder, then why don't y'all get in? Why don't you join a conference if it's so much? If it's so much easier why don't you get in?
Lou, they don't want to.
They don't want to play a 13th game. They don't want to play. They don't want to play Alabama in a play-in game. Of course, that's it.
That's not true. It's more about tradition. And Notre Dame and UCLA are the only teams.
Sir,
the only power.
Yale and Harvard have tradition. You know what they don't have? Meaningful wins this century. Neither do you.
I'm not saying we do. I'm not saying we
don't. Because you don't.
Has nothing to do with the meaningful. We don't. I'm not saying we have to win a meaningful game. It has nothing to do with meaningful games. It's people saying that we have to join a conference.
Sir,
it's just like
one of your games. One of your games this year. One of your games this year came on TNT at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Lou, would you rather see Notre Dame play Wisconsin?
You know how many people watch that?
Wisconsin with that new freshman quarterback. Would you rather have them play Wisconsin?
I'd love to see Notre Dame play. I'd love to see Notre Dame play Wisconsin.
Yeah, I would too. Instead, they're playing Georgia Tech next week, right? So, wouldn't you rather?
So, what are you saying? Games? You want to be in the Big Ten instead of the ACC? I don't understand. So you're saying you want to be in the Big Ten?
No, I'm saying I want to play USC. I want to play Navy. I want to play. I want to play Wisconsin some years. I want to play Georgia some years. Okay. Well, it's just an extra data point too. It's like we get the
Georgia's in a conference. Georgia's in a conference. Didn't we just play you twice in the last 3 years? So being in a conference doesn't preclude you from playing those games, sir. ACC plays 8 conference games a year. 8. That's 4 games. You can play Southern Cal and Navy every year. If you want to. Play your 8 ACC games and play any other 4 games you want. I mean, I know Notre Dame loves the tradition of winning a bunch of national titles 50 years ago when half their schedule was service academies, but that's not happening today. Is it?
It's true.
Yeah, I mean,
it's true. I honestly, I don't see Notre Dame fans calling you. I've never seen a Notre Dame fan call you and argue about the conference bit. So I appreciate you just giving your side. I honestly wanted to just aggravate you a little bit and see pick your brain a little bit.
Okay. Well, before I let you go, let me just figure out how smart you are. I'm just going to ask you a yes or no question. I don't need no explanation. This is just a simple yes or no question. Yes or no. Rudy was offsides.
Dude, I love that movie.
I said, no, forget the movie. Forget the movie.
He was offsides.
Okay.
He was offsides.
Thank you.
And you know what? He was offsides.
Thank you. I appreciate it. He's also a felon. Have a good day. He's also a felon and not as good as Stetson Bennett. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing. I got a dog that won't stop barking, so I'm incredibly sorry for that.
That's all right. If it gets too annoying, I'll just hang up on you.
That is true. Yeah, that's true. But I I was calling in. I think it's a little bit unfair for Uncle Lou to go, just go so far deep into Stetson Bennett. Listen, I get he's 5'8". He shouldn't be playing quarterback. I mean, the average quarterback size is 6'2" to 6'6". If you want a good quarterback to throw in the pocket, I get that. Everybody gets that, except for Kirby Smart, apparently. That's where I'm with you, Uncle Lou. This coaching stuff with trotting him out there, it's no good for me. But Stetson Bennett has done decent for what he is.
I'm not interested in someone that can do decent for what they are. I'm not interested in that. If I played quarterback for Georgia and I went 2 for 12 with 5 interceptions, that would be decent for what I am.
Well, I'm going to say this. Nobody's beaten a top-tier team by throwing 3 interceptions. Nobody. Trevor Lawrence threw 3 interceptions against Syracuse, and they had to struggle even though the scoreboard didn't show that, because at the end of the day, Clemson is a top-tier team, and if they can score the points on teams and just abuse them like Georgia has with their talent alone. So, but I don't think they could have done. I think they would have lost to an Alabama team if they would have thrown 3 interceptions as well.
And who threw those interceptions?
Oh, I know. Stetson Bennett threw those interceptions.
What's your goals for Georgia? What should Georgia's expectations be heading into this season? What should they have been?
What should they have been?
Yeah, what's your expectations for Georgia? Win the East? What?
I would say going 9-1. I knew we were probably going to drop the game to Alabama. 9-1, SEC championship rematch against Bama, and probably beating them then.
And making the playoffs. All right. And what do you think our chances would be in the playoffs? Let me ask you this: can you tell me the last 4 quarterbacks to win the national title?
Last 4 quarterbacks to win the national title at Georgia?
No. Just the last 4.
Oh.
16, 17, 18, and
okay.
16, 17, 18, and 19. Here, Deshaun Watson, Tua, Trevor Lawrence,
Burrow.
Joe Burrow. You think Stetson Bennett's going to be 5th on that list?
And Tua, of course.
I said Tua. I said Deshaun Watson, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, and Joe
I
Burrow.
Didn't hear you say Tua.
Okay, so do you think Stetson Bennett is going to be the next name on that list?
I don't know. The games haven't been played yet.
If you don't know,
I mean, it could be.
I know. The answer is no. The answer is no, sir.
He very well could be.
No. The answer is no.
He very well could be.
No, he very well. There's no way he could be, much less very well could be. It's just not happening.
I mean, Jake Fromm almost won a national title.
Almost.
I think Stetson Bennett's better than Jake Fromm, so I do think he can win a national title. Is he got the measurables that I desire for a starting quarterback at Georgia? No, he doesn't. But I still think he can win a national title at Georgia, given the talent that Georgia has.
I don't think I can help you.
I get where you're coming from, though. Realistically, he's not my first option. I'd rather have Mathis out there.
Have you
it's
seen?
a
Have
crime
you watched
shame
Clemson
what happened
play?
to him.
Have you watched Clemson play? this year?
I have watched Clemson play.
Did you watch any of the Ohio State game this past weekend?
I did.
Okay, and you've clearly seen Alabama play if you're a Georgia fan. You think Georgia's offense is keeping up with any of those teams? You honestly believe that with Stetson Bennett? Don't say anything about our defense. We had the best defense in America last year. Every time we play a good offense, they're going to score in the 30s. Every time. I don't care how good our defense is. LSU scored 37. Alabama scored 40-something. Oklahoma scored 48. You're not shutting down these teams, so that has nothing to do with the defense. Defense is great. Everyone knows that. Defense ain't winning right now. Offense is. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you. I don't think Georgia's winning the SEC with Stetson Bennett, much less the national title. I hate being wrong. In this case, I would gladly accept it, but I don't see it happening. Nothing I have seen from Stetson Bennett, absolutely nothing, tells me that we're lining up with Stetson Bennett and out-dueling Ohio State or Clemson or even Alabama. I don't see it happening. I just don't. I don't. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Morning.
Yes, it is.
So, that Notre Dame fan that we're talking to,
yeah,
he has to be delusional to think that Notre Dame, it'd be easier for Notre Dame to win in a conference, to go to the playoffs in a conference.
Yeah.
You have to be delusional to think that.
Right.
There's no other question. That's my first point. Second thing, I'm going to quick. I thought, didn't Trevor Lawrence get COVID earlier in August this year?
I know like half of Clemson's team got it. I don't know if Trevor did or not. I have no idea.
I think he did, but I thought you were immune to it for 5 months after you got it the first time.
I don't think they actually know whether that's true or not. But I don't know. It might be. I don't know if he had it or not. I don't know, and I don't know for sure one way or the other whether once you have it means you can't get it again. I know that's a possibility. I don't know if that's been proven or not. I honestly have no idea.
Okay. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou, can you hear me?
Barely. Yeah, I hear you. What's up?
Hey, my name is Hunter. I'm a longtime Georgia fan. I'm from Brazelton, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
I was just curious if you have heard about what Kirby said on the Paul Feinbaum show, or he said to Feinbaum about how, the QBs had extra reps and practice this week, and they had a bye week, and Stetson, showed out and worked on his second reads. And yeah. I'm tired of this shit, man.
Me too.
It's awful.
It's the same song and dance we heard time after time with Jake Fromm. I don't understand what the deal is with Kirby and these quarterbacks, but I agree with you. It's beyond frustrating at this point. It just makes no sense. To expect us to believe that Stetson Bennett is the best quarterback on our team, I mean, you're asking people to believe the impossible here. And if he is the best quarterback on our team, then that's sad too, because that means we went out and signed a whole bunch of 4- and 5-star quarterbacks who aren't any good. So who's evaluating our quarterbacks before we sign them? I don't understand. I don't get this at all. You got these idiots on Dog Daily saying, well, we brought Jamie Newman in because we needed a mobile quarterback. Well, you didn't play Justin Fields because he was too mobile. Now they're saying JT Daniels isn't playing because he's not mobile enough and all this kind of. It just makes no sense. I don't know what else I can say about it. I agree with you. It's pitiful. And if they play DeJuan Mathis and he sucks, that doesn't then somehow make Stetson Bennett good. That just means, what are we doing with these quarterbacks? That none of them are any good. And how come when they leave, they're good? That's what I want to know. Jacob Eason had to leave, and he got drafted ahead of Fromm. Justin Fields leaves. He couldn't get on the field. We see what he's doing at Ohio State. So that's why I don't believe Kirby. When Kirby tells me that Stetson's better than JT Daniels and DeJuan Mathis, I don't believe him. Because I've seen the other quarterbacks that he's told me were no good. I've seen them go other places and play better than they played in Athens. So I just don't believe him. And it's pitiful
Yeah,
if
I wanna go
Stetson
back to
Bennett's the
the-
best quarterback on our team. That's sad. That means whoever is evaluating and signing these quarterbacks doesn't know what the hell they're doing. How is it possible that Jacob Eason, Justin Fields, DeJuan Mathis, Carson Beck, and JT Daniels are all worse than Fromm and Bennett? Well, what the hell is
doesn't
going
make
on
any
here?
sense.
Some Twilight Zone shit.
I want to go back to the DeJuan Mathis thing. You know, he came out in Arkansas and he only had 4 or 5 drives. And yeah, he threw 1 interception, but I don't think they took into account that, he didn't have a lot of experience going into that game. And they put in Stetson, and I don't think that they didn't even score a touchdown the rest of the first half. So he had more drives than DeJuan Mathis and still didn't score a touchdown, which it doesn't make sense to me. And whoever is evaluating the quarterback position should have been fired yesterday, because this is awful. I'm tired of it. It's turning into a Mark Richt repeat where we go 11-2 every year, and I'm tired of it, man.
Yeah, and I mean, we're the laughing stock of the college football world with this quarterback situation. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, there's nothing I can say to people anymore. People try to troll me about Justin Fields. It doesn't even bother me anymore because what can I say? There's nothing to say. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Mac Jones is a 3-star. Look at him at Alabama. We get how many 5-star? Kirby's had 3 5-stars. He benches all of them for Fromm and Stetson Bennett. Come on. You know what I mean? Come on. Clemson had Deshaun Watson. Now they got Trevor Lawrence. What? Now, let me ask you this. Chat section. The ukulele at Tater in Clemson, the Tater man. True freshman, 5-star. Well, we all know that means nothing. Look at all the shit 5-stars Georgia has. Is there anybody that thinks for 1 second that the ukulele is going to come out there and look like shit? No. Is he Trevor? Is he going to put up Trevor? Is he going to be Trevor Lawrence? No. In other words, well, let me ask you this. Who do you think will look like a better quarterback this weekend? Stetson Bennett or the ukulele? The ukulele never played. Who do you think will look like a better quarterback? And don't say, well, you can't compare that. Ukulele's a 5-star. Yeah, so is JT Daniels. And he can't get on the field. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what we're doing. I honestly don't. I don't know what we're doing. It's just way too conservative. The conservative mindset is killing us. It's just killing us. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't have the slightest idea. I don't have the slightest idea. Keon Coleman, thank you for the super chat. He says, if you're not watching Uncle Lou, what are you doing? That's a great question. 259 people right now do know what they're doing. They're watching Uncle Lou. 261 now. Shout out to the 2 people who just joined the stream. Hit the thumbs up on your way in. I would appreciate it. It's free to do, and it really helps me out a lot. 84 people that are watching like the show so far. I'll try to make the next few minutes of the show better so that more people are inclined to hit that thumbs up. That's what I'll do. I'm going to do my best to make that's how I make a deal. If I make the next 5 minutes of the show really, really good, as good as I can, y'all have to hit the thumbs up. Is that a good deal? Okay. I think that's a good deal. Who Dat for Life says, Notre Dame is like that squatter at the potluck dinner who wants to eat up all the food but won't even bother to bring, at the very least, a casserole. Yes, and at the end, you catch them walking out to their car with 19 Tupperwares full of everything that was left over. That's a great point. Great point. Y'all know the uncle I'm talking to. Everyone's got that uncle or cousin or somebody. Just like this guy saying, shows up with nothing, leaves with 2 weeks worth of meals. Now what is he doing? We don't know. Mel and Matt, thank you for the super chat. Notre Dame doesn't play a 13th game because they know they'd lose. Army would beat the hell out of Notre Dame this year too. F Rudy. #offsides. Yeah. I was waiting on him to throw the whole TV deal thing at me. Notre Dame, man, still thinks that they have some kind of advantage because they have a TV deal with NBC. They make something like what do they make per year off their NBC deal? Like 10 or 11 million, something like that. Every single team in the SEC made like 25 million on their TV deal last year. Every single one. See, here's the thing. Yeah, Notre Dame has a TV deal with NBC for home games. For home games. So what? 6-7 games a year at the most. At the most. The SEC, on the other hand, since it's a conference, has deals with ESPN and CBS. There's 6, 7, 8, 9 SEC games on every week. You know, because you got, now this year it's all SEC versus SEC, so the most amount of games you have is 7. But you got 7, so at a minimum, you got 7 games a week. In a regular season, you got half the teams playing non-con games. So you got 10, 11 games on a week. 12 weeks a year. Doesn't matter, home or away. Georgia plays Bama. It don't matter. In Bama, in Georgia. Doesn't matter. Georgia's getting paid that TV money. Don't matter. But the Notre Dame man wants to brag about NBC paying them for 5 home games a year. Hey, a little piddly $9, $10 million. No one cares. $9 or $10 million. This isn't 1985, man. When Notre Dame first struck that TV deal back in the early 90s, whatever it was a big deal because every game wasn't on TV back then. But all of a sudden, every Notre Dame game was on TV. You know? Hell, when I was growing up, every Georgia game wasn't even on down here. And you'd have pay-per-view games. You were lucky. If Georgia was playing at noon, there was about a 50% chance that game wasn't coming on TV. You had one SEC game a week that came on 3:30 that everybody could watch. And then at 12 o'clock, they would give you a regional game, maybe. It wasn't like it is now. You know, where at 12 o'clock, there's 45 games on. It wasn't like that back in my day. Walked to school uphill in the snow with no shoes on. I was uphill both ways, too. Notre Dame, man. Look at this guy.
Uncle Lou, I'm going to bring you in. I'm not talking to him. I really don't want to talk to him.
Now, that guy cruises pedo chat rooms, and that's not slander, a lie. I'm not making it up. I'm not trash talking. That's 100% facts. The guy doesn't even deny it or hide it. Hell, he posts videos of himself doing it, this guy. What a nitwit this guy is. What a nitwit. Has the word pedo in his email address. Posts videos of himself trolling in pedo chat rooms. The guy's an absolute sick individual. What a disgusting human being that guy is. Where are we at, though? Yeah. Oh, Notre Dame is the Felicia of D1 college football. Insert Smokey off Friday voice. Always want to come around and smoke up somebody's stuff. Yeah, and every time they play a real game, it's like when they finally beat up Debo and they you got knocked the fuck out. Yeah, every time Notre Dame plays a legitimate team in a bowl game, every time Notre Dame makes it to a playoff, to a BCS game, to a New Year's Six bowl, guess what? Notre Dame gets knocked the fuck out every time, and it's not even close. They're 0 for 9, and the average margin of victory is like 32 points, or the average margin of loss in this case is like 32. Tradition, he said. Yeah, well, tradition ain't never won a game, ever. All tradition does is make losers feel better. That's all. That's it. All tradition does is make a team that lost today feel better. That's it. That's all. That's all. That's it. That's all it does. Noah, thank you for the super chat. How good will Florida be next season? Sir, what? Ballard, is that you? Ballard, do you have a UGA troll account name called Noah Sheldon? How good will Florida be next season? The hell I'm talking about next season. We're actually in a season. Man, do you have any idea how long the off season is on this channel? Man, come on. Come on. That's off-season talk. How good is Florida going to be next season? How the hell do I know? We don't know who's leaving. Noah, you do understand that every single player on every single team in America can come back next year, right? You do know that. Now, that doesn't mean they will, but everyone can. Well, we've never experienced anything like this. How the hell do I know? I mean, yeah, Kyle Pitts should go to the NFL, but he might not. Kyle Trask might come back. I don't know, sir. I have no idea. That's off-season stuff. We have actual this season. We're in a season. How good will your super chats be next year? That's what I want to know. How good will your super chats be next year, Noah? They better be better than this year's. I'm angry. Weatherman, thank you for the super chat. Says, Lou, there are 2 bads and 1 good for Kentucky this week. Can you guess what they are? Let me know. I will super chat again for the correct answer. 2 bads for Kentucky this week and 1 good. Well, the good for Kentucky is that Stetson Bennett is starting for Georgia. The bads for Kentucky is that they have no offense and they're losing this game by 30. That's my guesses. Andy Case, thank you for the super chat. He says, love your show. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate those kind words, sir. I appreciate you tuning in, all of you. I say it all the time, but without you guys watching, this would just be me sitting in my she shed talking college football to myself. So thank you. Cleon Coleman, thank you for the super chat too, though. He says, whoa, Todd on that. Yeah, whoa, Todd on it. Do I have can we whoa Todd on? Whoa Todd, woo! I don't think was that. Whoa Todd, woo! Nope. Can't whoa Todd on it. Up close and personal. Thank you for the super chat. He says Rudy boys got 3 losses coming. Haven't played nobody. What are the 3 losses? You have to go ahead and name them. Can't just say you got 3 losses coming. Go ahead and name them. Maybe you're counting Clemson twice. I don't know. They don't play Miami. Do they play North Carolina? I don't know. Who else would beat them? I don't know. I don't know. I know Clemson is 1. I don't know who the other 2 are unless you're counting Clemson twice, maybe. I don't know. Falcons 1? You got to be kidding. Uh-oh. Let me check something real quick then. Who remembers our buddy 8 Camel Toes? He's a Carolina Panthers fan. He's streaming right now. He's drowning his sorrows in his stupid-ass guitar, which means he's not paying attention to the comments. Maybe he'll be paying attention to the comments later. If he is, I'll post the link to his I'll post a link in the chat, and we can all go over there and tell him to hang himself or something. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I'm the only one that should tell him that. Yeah. That's probably a good idea. Yep. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up? What's up, Uncle Lou? How are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. I remember the last time you told me to call in to come back with some stories of my interactions with players on campus. So I have a couple for you, if that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it.
So both of them, I guess, are unique because now they both actually play for the Dolphins. So my first story was at the beginning of my freshman year last year, and I had a class in the communications college, and my class was at like noon, and there was a class across the hall from me that got out at like 11:45, and that class had Tua in it. So I remember like always as I was waiting to go to class, Tua would always be walking by, and he'd have like his headphones in, and people would always seem to be like really nervous. But from what I heard from like the people in my classes who were like communications majors, They actually said when he like asked for help or something like that, that he was like a really nice and humble guy. That's like one of them. And I remember I kind of had that same fanboying experience that you were talking about the last time, which I thought was unique. And then another one, I was walking to class and I got off the bus and I see this absolute behemoth of a man. Like, it's strange when you see someone who's like 6'7" or 6'8" and you're just in awe, and then someone who's like only 5'7", that's like insane. And I was just like in complete awe just looking at him, and it ended up being Raekwon Davis. And I'm like, man, this is a specimen right here that's just walking by me. Like, this man is going to go pro. And then I guess this is a little bit unique, but so I'm from Chicago and Illinois, and my family, this is a bit weird, but my family runs a funeral business. And in our business, we have a couple of funeral homes, and you know who Pat Fitzgerald is, the coach of Northwestern?
Yeah.
I guess that when his mother died, they came to one of our funeral homes. So now I have this. So there's like this a little bit of this connection that I guess we have as a business connection to Pat Fitzgerald from Northwestern.
Yeah. So your family embalmed Pat Fitzgerald's mother. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I always tell people about what you said about Raekwon Davis and how big he is. I'll hear from people sometimes that'll tell me they're going to their first game or something, whatever. And I tell them the same thing. I say, at some point, whether it's during warm-ups, during the game, whatever, walk down to field level. It's unbelievable how big those people are. And even at the game, you don't get an appreciation for it when you're sitting up in the stands. But if you're able to walk down to field level at a college or an NFL stadium, it's unbelievable. See, when you watch it on TV, it's the same in basketball or whatever. When you watch it on TV, they're all so big, it's hard to understand how big they are. They're huge. And when you walk down on field level and see them running, it's unbelievable that a 300-pound man can run faster than you or me or whatever. It's unreal. The size of these people is unreal, and speed is unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. I just remember I'm like, I can't believe I'm looking at someone like that massive and large, just casually walking by going to class. Like,
and even the offensive linemen, like the offensive linemen, 330 pounds, they'll be 6-7% body fat. Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland looks like a damn bodybuilder. He's an offensive guard and tackle. I mean, he's 6'6", 330 pounds, whatever he is. The guy looks like he's cut out of stone. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unreal. Hey, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Lou? This is Tennessee Volunteer 98, continuing my streak of calling in. Today I want to talk about how ignorant Tennessee fans are being right now. I know I'm one myself.
Yeah, you called the right number.
My fan base who wants Jeremy Pruitt fired is being completely delusional right now. I completely disagree with it.
Yeah,
Let me explain why. First of all, we can't afford to fire him.
Yeah. You're still paying
Exactly,
Butch Jones.
That's my point here. Who would think?
You got 2 more payments to make.
We're still paying Butch Jones.
Yeah, no doubt. And like you said, nobody's taking that job.
No one will take the job because, first of all, who wants to be in a shithole there? And that's what it is right now. It's a shithole.
You said it.
I completely, you've been a Georgia fan your whole life. Have you ever had those lows where you're like, what the hell is the administration doing here? That's what I'm like right now. I'm just completely aggravated with everything that's going on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and become a Alabama fan or anything, become a bandwagon, but
no, you can't do
you
that.
get my point.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
Screw that shit.
Right. I agree. Look, Pruitt hasn't been impressive, but unfortunately, I don't think Tennessee has much of a choice right now but to ride with him. I don't know where else they would go. They're still paying Butch Jones. They're not firing anybody in a Corona season where everybody's losing money. And it's, it would kill recruiting again. Then you're bringing in a whole nother offensive staff again. It's going to ruin Harrison Bailey. You got to ride with Pruitt probably for another 3 or 4 years, good, bad, or indifferent, regardless of what happens. I don't think he's getting fired anytime in the next 3 years. I don't
want him to get fired. We need to give coaches time. That's been the problem. We keep firing coaches and we don't give them time, and that's why we're in this crappy situation that we are in right now.
Well, firing coaches is part of the problem. Bad hires really is the problem. I mean, Butch Jones he's not an SEC coach. You could have kept him for 10 years. It wasn't, so firing coaches is a symptom of hiring bad coaches. That's the problem. And we don't know yet about Jeremy Pruitt. He's a young coach. He inherited a team that was in a tough situation. And then right when he started to sort of get it going at the end of last year with that winning streak in the bowl win, you have the coronavirus thing. And I'm not one to sit here and make excuses for Tennessee. Listen, everybody had to deal with the same offseason that Tennessee did, and some teams handled it better than others. We're finding that out now. So I'm not here to make excuses for Jeremy Pruitt. But, I'm not ready to say that he'll never be a successful head coach. I mean, there came a point with Butch Jones where that was pretty obvious and apparent. I don't think that's the case right now with Jeremy Pruitt. The first thing that needs to happen is Garantano needs to get gone. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Harrison Bailey is going to be an amazing quarterback. Maybe it's the guy you get after Harrison Bailey. I don't know, but there's a ceiling with Garantano, and it's not very high. And not all of it's Garantano's fault either. Not all of it is Garantano's fault. The guy was the second highest rated dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. He's had 3 different offensive coordinators in his time at Tennessee. It's hard for anybody to have real success under those circumstances and conditions. Again, I'm not making excuses for Garantano. He turns the ball over. He disappears sometimes. It's not very good. But he hasn't had an ideal situation. But that's the first thing that needs to happen for Jeremy Pruitt. You got to move on from Garantano, whether that's this year, this offseason, whatever. I mentioned a minute ago, these players can come back. What a nightmare for Tennessee if Garantano comes back, because Jeremy Pruitt's going to have to make a tough decision then. What do? You go with Harrison Bailey, the redshirt freshman next year, who's got clearly more potential than Garantano. Because Garantano doesn't have potential at this point. You just know what you're getting there. And it's just a matter of finding another quarterback on the roster that can give you more. You know what you're going to get from Garantano now. The best thing for Tennessee is for him to get gone, in my opinion. And try something else, go a different way, whether that's some point this year or next year.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I gotta get going.
Yeah, thanks for continuing the streak of calling in. It was good to hear from you, sir. Trying to run through the calls that are left here. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Morning, Lou. How's it going? It's Michael McClintock again.
Yeah, it's going great though.
So, I got a couple things I'll run through quick because I know it's getting late here for you. But obviously, I'm a Gator fan. But as a college football fan and a football fan in general, it's kind of funny to laugh at from a Florida fan perspective. But as a college football fan, I feel very frustrated for even JT Daniels. He transferred to Georgia to sit on the bench behind a 3-star walk-on.
Right. How mad must he be? And that's the point I was making earlier. Okay, we hired Todd Monken for a specific reason. We're going to run a specific type of offense, a spread offense type of deal. We're going to move in that direction. You go out, Newman comes in, JT Daniels comes in. Now you got people saying, well, JT Daniels can't play because look at the kind of offense we run. He's a pocket passer and we're running a spread offense. Bitch, you knew that when you recruited and signed him. It wasn't a surprise. JT Daniels didn't show up, and then a month later we hired Todd Monken. I mean, we had hired Monken 4 months before Daniels ever came to UGA. So you knew that. So don't tell me now that Daniels doesn't fit our offense. Why'd you go get him then? I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. And it's not like he could be worse than Stetson Bennett. But have we even seen him play for Georgia?
Again, he might be.
Nope.
He might be. And if he is, that's Kirby's fault too, because I mean, how many of these quarterbacks can you get and keep telling the fans, well, they weren't any good. That's why they're not playing. They're not any good. That 5-star is no good. This 5-star is no good. That highly rated 4-star. Everybody in America wanted DeJuan Mathis. Now, he didn't look good when he played, but it's a small sample size. And that was the first live football he'd played in over 2 years because of the brain surgery. So I don't know whether he's good or not. I don't think he's terrible because he looked bad in 4 series, though, and was yanked after 1 interception while we left Stetson Bennett in the game in the second half against Alabama when the dude couldn't complete a pass to his own team. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Why you wouldn't give somebody else a chance there in the second half. It was clear we weren't coming back in that game with Stetson Bennett in there. I don't know why you left him in. But if DeJuan is no good, if JT Daniels is no good, if Carson Beck is no good, and that's why Stetson Bennett is playing, that's even worse. That's even worse. You went out and got 3 quarterbacks that everybody in America wanted, and none of them are any good? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's alarming, honestly.
It's very alarming. The quarterback problem. Great choice of words, too. It's very alarming.
With the QB problems with Kirby have obviously already been alarming. But here's the thing. You're coming off a bye week, and you're not even going to let DeJuan or JT even trot out there against Kentucky?
Right. I mean, it's 2018. It's 2018 all over again. The worst game of Fromm's career was that 2018 game at LSU. We then had a bye week, and everybody said, "Oh, this is it. Well, we're finally they're going to take this bye week and get Justin Fields ready, and he'll be the guy coming out of the bye week." We came out of the bye week. Justin Fields never stepped foot on the field ever. Didn't get 1 snap, and I knew right then he was gone. And I said the other day, if this season ends with Stetson Bennett as the starter, because he's coming back next year. If this season ends with Stetson Bennett as the starting, they should all leave, and Brock Vandagriff should decommit. Why would you come here as a highly rated QB? Look what we have done to every single highly rated QB Kirby has had. Every single one. Why would you come here? They should all leave if that's the case. I wouldn't blame them one bit. And would anybody be surprised if DeJuan Mathis went somewhere and put up 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns? No. Or Daniels or Beck? No. No one would be surprised. We see it happen every Saturday with the last guy that left, Justin Fields. Hey, thank you for the call. I appreciate that also too. Yeah. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Basically, there's a good chance you don't notice it, but me and the people on Reddit college football page are starting to go a bit crazy. This year, ESPN's bottom ticker and scoreboard, someone on Reddit actually measured it. It now takes up more than 20% of the screen. I noticed the first couple of weeks, something was bothering me, but I couldn't tell until I went on the Reddit page. So, is that something that has bothered you at all this year, to have the ESPN ticker and scoreboard just getting bigger and bigger and bigger? Every year?
I haven't noticed it. You haven't noticed it?
No.
Okay.
All right.
I'll pay attention to it this weekend and see, but it hasn't, whatever it is, it hasn't been so bad that it's bothered me. But thank you for the call, though. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Oh, is it me?
Oh, yes, it is you.
Okay, great. First, I want to say thank you because you're hilarious, and you make me and my dad actually bond because we talk about how fun you are every time that we speak. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that.
Truly. But there's 2 small things I want to say. First, what are your opinions on Todd Monken? Because personally, I think he's going to change it eventually in a good way, but right now I don't see too much. It's better from last year, of course, but
yeah, right now, in terms of this week, Kirby Smart is in charge. I just have a feeling we're going to do nothing but run the ball, and Stetson Bennett's going to dink and dunk. He'll be 15 of 20 for 100. It's going to be a Jake Fromm stat line. 16 of 21 for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we're just going to run the ball down Kentucky's throat. I think that's what's going to happen. That's meaningless. It's not helping us in any way. It's not preparing us for tougher games down the road. It's not doing anything but getting a meaningless win over Kentucky, but Kirby loves that shit. And he's been hearing for 2 weeks that he needs to bench Stetson Bennett. He's going to think he proved some kind of a point this week by coming out and beating Kentucky by 30 with Stetson Bennett, but when that's just clearly not the issue. We're so much more talented than almost everybody we play that it doesn't, we can do that, but that's not the problem. The problem is when we play somebody with equal talent. That's the problem, and we get road graded. When we can't bully a team, when we can't just show up and push you around and run up the middle 40 times for 6 yards per carry all the game long, well, we have no plan B. Why? Because we spend all season doing stuff like that against Kentucky instead of developing a real offense that can compete against good teams when it matters. And that's what we're going to do this weekend. I've been watching this over and over and over ever since 2017, and I used to fall for it too. Oh, we're hiding our offense. Second half of the season, they're going to turn it on, that whole thing. And I bought in, and it just never happens. I don't see it happening this year either. I think Kirby's going to put his head in his turtle shell this week, and you're just going to see a bunch of running and a bunch of, dinks and dunks from Stetson Bennett. He'll have a high percentage of completed passes because he's going to be throwing 5-yard routes and stuff like that, and hitch passes and screen passes and jet sweeps and just BS that means nothing once we get to the SEC title game, if we even get to the SEC. That's what I think is going to happen.
So are you happy overall with Todd Monken?
Yeah, In years past, play calling was my issue. Now, we executed pretty well. They were terrible play calls. They were vanilla plays, but we executed them pretty well. I like the play calling this year. It's an execution problem because, first of all, George Pickens is nothing but a decoy. That's it. That's all. George Pickens got like 12 catches this year. I mean, this is just insane. He had more catches and yards against Baylor in the Sugar Bowl than he's had all year this year. It's insane. He's only out there. He's only out there to distract the defense because Stetson Bennett can't throw the ball downfield. Stetson Bennett can't get him the ball. Pickens plays on the outside. Bennett doesn't throw to the outside, and he doesn't throw deep. So Pickens is a waste. He may transfer. I don't know. He may say I've had enough of this shit, and get out. I don't know. So he's a waste. But yeah, that's what we'll do this weekend is just run the ball down Kentucky's throat because there's nothing they can do about it.
Would you rather have Fromm right now?
No.
Be honest.
No. Because
really, you'd rather have Stetson.
I would rather have Stetson than Fromm, and I would rather go 8-2 and lose the East with JT Daniels than go 9-1 and win the East with Stetson. Because I know what's going to happen. He's not going to win that game that we need him to win. Let someone else give it a try. I mean, I'm just tired of the same old thing over and over and over again. And again, I don't know. Stetson, JT Daniels and DeJuan Mathis and Carson Beck, maybe they all suck. But that's Kirby's fault if that's true. Yeah. I just don't understand why we're trotting this Stetson Bennett out and trying to tell people he's our best option. And if he is our best option, that's pitiful. It's unacceptable to me. It's nothing against Stetson Bennett. I mean, what did this guy do? It's not Stetson Bennett's fault, but he's got limitations. I mean, it is what it is. Listen, if the coaches thought Stetson Bennett was the answer, they would have not went after Jamie Newman or JT Daniels. The coaches don't even think he's the answer. This guy was 5th on the depth chart 2 months ago. 2 months ago, he was 5th. These same coaches that are looking you in the eye right now and saying, listen, we're at practice every day, and I'm telling you, Stetson is the best option. Those same coaches that are telling you that were telling you that every quarterback on our team was better than Stetson Bennett 2 months ago. Now, those two things can't both be true. Stetson Bennett's been at UJ. He was there all of 2017. So they saw him for an entire year then. He never got on the field. He quit and transferred in 18. He came back last year in 19. He was only the backup last year because DeJuan Mathis got hurt. And let me ask you this. When we sent Stetson Bennett into the game last year 8 or 9 times when we were up by 40 points in the second half, what did we have him do? Hand the damn ball off.
Nothing.
Now he's the starter.
Yeah.
Sure would have been nice to give him a bunch of real experience last year, wouldn't it? But nope, let's just make him hand off. Same thing we did to DeJuan Mathis in the Auburn game. Sent him into the Auburn game and told him to hand the ball off 15 times. Who is that helping? Nobody. Nobody.
No one.
But you can't tell me that Stetson Bennett's the 5th best quarterback on our team in August and the best quarterback on our team in September. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody buying that.
Either.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what changed. I don't know what happened. But I know for a fact Stetson Bennett was 5th on the depth chart in August, and now he's starting. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. It's something with Kirby. He just doesn't like to experiment ever.
Yeah, I know.
Like, at all.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I don't understand it either. Hey, thank you for the call. I'm going to let you go. Okay, that's it. No one's on hold, so I'm going to end the phone calls now. Man, these call-in shows are lasting 2 damn hours. You know, I feel like all I'm ever doing is talking about the quarterbacks, but people keep asking, what am I supposed to do? You know, what am I supposed to do? Weatherman, he says, okay, you were partly correct. The two bads are we play UGA and Terry Wilson is out. That's bad? One good, Joey Gatewood plays. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't think Joey Gatewood's going to have a good game at all. Giving someone their first ever start against this Georgia defense is not an ideal situation. But I do agree that getting away from Terry Wilson in general is the right idea. The guy's he can't complete passes. I mean, it's great that you can run around. I want a run around quarterback too, but not one that can't complete passes. And Terry Wilson just hasn't gotten any better throwing the ball since he got there. Jared Guyton, thank you for the super chat. He says Julio Jones had a great game. He's one of the best receivers in the league. I'm not surprised by that. Up close and personal, thank you for the super chat. He says Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia Tech struggle against Virginia Tech last year. Those are the 3 games they're going to lose? Virginia Tech's been really bad. Virginia Tech would have to get a lot better for me to pick them against Notre Dame right now. Anything can happen, though. He said no Virginia Tech this year, but Clemson and UNC, 2 losses. I could see that. If North Carolina plays a good game, I think they could beat Notre Dame. So I could see that. Right now, I wouldn't pick Virginia Tech over Notre Dame. Jared Guyton, thank you for the super chat. Says Joey Gate would have been named to start. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yeah, I just don't think it's a good idea to do it against Georgia. Should have done it last week against Missouri. I mean, you know, Kentucky scored 10 points against Missouri with Terry Wilson. If you were going to start Joey Gatewood, last week was the week to do it. I don't think it's a good idea to bring a new quarterback out against UGA. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm glad they're doing it, but I don't think it's a good idea for them. Just being honest. Just being honest. Hey, I uploaded 2 videos on the main channel today. I usually only upload 1. Make sure you guys check it out. I did the SEC preview video today, and I did the Big Ten preview video today on the main channel. I'm going to try to do a quick one in the morning on the ACC and the Big 12, and then the Hype and Hate video in the afternoon. So I got a day behind this week, so I had to do 2 today. Try to do 2 tomorrow. I'm not skipping the Hype and Hate. I'm definitely doing it tomorrow. So I'm going to try to get an ACC and a Big 12 video out tomorrow too. Not 2 videos, 1. I'll do the ACC and the Big 12 in 1 video. The SEC and the Big 10 was 2 videos today. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you check those out on the main channel. Also, I'm like 50 subscribers away or something from 36,000. So if there's a video I've done in the last month or so or whatever that you really liked, share it somewhere tomorrow for me. Browse my channel or whatever, pick out one of the videos that you like and share it somewhere on your Facebook or your Twitter or something. Every time you guys share my videos, it really helps me out a lot. One of the easiest ways or fastest ways to grow on YouTube, obviously, is to get exposed to people who haven't seen me before. So if you guys, over the next couple of days, if you could pick a video that you really like of mine and share it somewhere, I would appreciate that. Try to get me to 36,000 subscribers by the weekend. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. The Dean, thank you for the super chat. He says, hey, Lou, hoping your family are doing well. Thank you, sir. We are. I hope yours is doing well, too. He says, I'm a Bama fan, but watching you helps me remember we're all Americans first. Love your show. Go SEC. Thank you, sir. I love college football, sir. And the rivalries and, the fact that I can yell and scream at an Alabama fan about their team and argue about their team over and over and over and over and over again, but then sit down with that same guy and just talk about how great college football, like that's what makes college football to me. The rivalries, but almost everybody, not everybody, almost every college football fan, though, is a fan of college football. Yeah, there are some that just get into their one team, and that's the one game they watch a week, and they don't care anything else about it or whatever. But most people who have a favorite college football team are college football fans. And that's what's made this community what it is. It's not anything I do. Somehow I've been able to attract fans from all different types of teams. And I don't know if y'all understand how hard that is to do, because there's a lot of people who will click on this video right now, see me wearing a Georgia hat, and will click off the video and never click on it again. There are some people that are like that. They only want to watch or listen to somebody who's a fan of their team. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it makes it hard. It makes it hard on YouTube to get above a certain point if all you're doing is attracting fans from your own team. Somehow I've gotten lucky here and been able to attract fans, not just from the SEC, but from all 5 of the major conferences. And it's really the community that's on this channel that has made this channel what it is. I'm really just providing a comment section. Sometimes it seems like that's all I'm doing. And it's you guys that have all somehow found this channel and decided that you liked it and stuck around, that have really made this channel what it is. So, but if y'all could pick a video and share it somewhere over the next couple of days, man, that would mean a lot to me. Notre Dame Fitz says, thanks for taking my call earlier. I really hope Trevor Lawrence can play next week. Would hate to beat Clemson if they're not at full strength. Yeah, I mean, again, with the whole I'm a college football fan thing, but that's a game that I circled, as soon as we knew it was on the schedule. Everybody wants to see that game. Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame. You had some others that ended up getting Texas, LSU. People were excited about that one. Now, it turns out Texas not very good. Neither is LSU, but we didn't know that, and that looked like it was going to be a huge game, right? That ended up getting canceled, and there were some others too. But the Alabama, Georgia game and the Clemson, Notre Dame game were 2 of the big games that people talked about all offseason that survived the whole coronavirus thing and are still being played. Georgia and Alabama played 2 weeks ago. Notre Dame and Clemson playing this coming up week. I mean, those are just huge games. And if you're a college football fan, you might hate Georgia. You might hate me. If you're a college football fan, you watch that Georgia-Alabama game, and you'll watch the Clemson-Notre Dame game. A lot of people hate Notre Dame. I hear from them all the time. If you're a college football fan, you're watching the Notre Dame-Clemson game. I mean, that's the thing about college football. It sets it apart, I think. Bama Mike says, Uncle Lou made college football great again. Hashtag LouTube for life. College football was great when I got here, sir. I cannot take credit for that. College football was great when I got here, and it'll be great when I leave. But man, to me, there's nothing like it. There's nothing even close to college football. It's just, I think it's the greatest sport in the world. It's the greatest regular season in all the sports, and I don't even think that's up for debate. When you look at baseball, they play 165 games. That's a lot of meaningless games. The NBA, half the league makes the playoffs. The other half of the league is terrible. NCAA, college basketball, you can go 0-30. And if you get hot and win your conference tournament, you're still making the NCAA tournament. The regular season is almost meaningless in college basketball. But in college football, man, Every single game is huge, right? It's the greatest regular season, and without question. Is this a typo? Why is ASU versus USC at 9 a.m. Pacific time? That is not a typo. The Pac-12 has made a conscious decision to try to get more of their games on TV during East Coast viewing hours. A lot of the Pac-12 games have been coming on at 10:30 at night, and the viewership has been down. The ratings have been low. So the Pac-12 has made a conscious decision to try to put games on more often during prime East Coast viewing windows, in this case, 12 p.m. If you notice, the last couple of years, they've been doing a Friday night game every week, and they've been putting some of the good games on Friday nights. Oregon at Arizona State. There's been some big ones on Friday nights. So that's a conscious decision. Now, it sucks for those teams. It sucks for those teams. They got to play at 9 a.m., but it's 12 o'clock here. That was a conscious decision that they made to do that. Weatherman says Wilson is out with a wrist injury. Who's Wilson? Who? Oh, Terry Wilson. Yeah. You hate to see that, but like I said, he's. Look, this is bad to say. He can't complete passes. So really, what you have in Terry Wilson is a less talented Lynn Bowden. I mean, you guys took a wide receiver and had him playing quarterback the last half of last year, and it was fun to watch. But you weren't going to be, come on. And that's what you have with Terry Wilson, basically. A less talented Lynn Bowden, in my opinion. I just don't think he's very good at throwing the ball. I mean, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. He's not very good at throwing the ball. I think everyone knows that. Richard D., thank you for hitting the PayPal link. He's got a joke for us. He says, what did the penis say to the condom? Cover me. I'm going in. Thank you for hitting the PayPal, sir. Oh, Lord. What's the score of this, game? Fresno State and Colorado State. Yes, Fresno State's up 24-10. Fresno State was a 3.5-point underdog. And I took them on the money line to win. And they're up by 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Third quarter just started. So I'm fixing to wrap this up. So if you guys aren't ready to go to bed yet and you want to watch some football, maybe this will be a good one, a West Coast game here. Fresno State versus Colorado State. Fresno State's 0-1. They got blown out by Hawaii. Colorado State, this is their first game, I guess it looks like. Fresno State up 24-10. Third quarter just started. Come on, Fresno State. Fresno State should win, right? What are they? The Fresno State what? I mean, come on. Come on. Just saying. Just saying. They should win. They were 3.5 points underdog. I took them on the money line. So y'all wish me luck on that one. Maybe I'll hit a winner here. I got to start picking. I got to start getting some of these games and winning some money over on Bet Now, because Lord knows you guys can't pick a winner on Saturday mornings. I have 9 times now. 9. I have placed a bet for somebody in the comments section. I do this every Saturday morning on the live show, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Saturday morning live show. I let somebody in the comments section pick a game, and then I placed a bet for them live on the air on Bet Now. $25. And I say the same thing. You pick the game, I'll place the bet, and I place it right there for everybody to see. If you win the bet, I'll send you what you win. 9 times people have picked the game. 9 times they have gotten it wrong. 0 for 9. Y'all are 0 for 9. Now, that's $225. Y'all have cost me. So whoever wins the chat contest this Saturday morning and gets to make the pick, please pick a winner. Tyler P., I'm looking at you, sir. You. Tyler P. was last week's loser. And I like Tyler P. Somebody's got to get one right. What if we make it through this whole season with me doing this on Saturday mornings and not a single one of y'all gets a pick right? One of y'all better start hitting some of these. Chris Fields, thank you for the super chat. He says, so you say that Notre Dame guy visits pedo chats, huh? Just make those Catholic molester priest easier and easier, I see. Ay, ay, ay. When did you become a Tool fan? I was towards the end of high school. I guess it was right after high school, maybe. I had a friend of mine that was in a band. It was a local thing. You know, they played in some clubs around town or whatever. And I'd been friends with him for a long time. And we were hanging out for a while. I guess maybe a year or two after I graduated high school, so I would have been in college. Anyway, he was a huge Tool fan. I'd never listened to him. And had just come out. Lateralis with Schism and Parable and Parabola and The Patient and all that. And he was a huge Tool fan. And he had bought the CD or whatever the day it came out. And for like 2 months, every time I was with him, he was listening. That's all we listened to. He was listening to it all the time. And so it grew on me. But I never went and bought their previous albums. They had a couple albums out before that. I never went and bought them. So that one album was all I knew. Well, in like 2007 or 2008, they put another album out. And I went and got it, and it was good. And I was like, wow. So then I went back and started listening to all their early stuff. So I first started listening to them in the early 2000s, I guess, late 90s, early 2000s, I guess it was, a couple of years after I graduated high school. But I didn't really get into them. And then they came out with another album 10 years later or whatever. And that's when I really started listening to them a lot. I guess that's the best way I can answer that. Stephen Roberts, thank you for the super chat. He says, don't wrap it up, Lou. Stream this game for us and randomly yell about Justin Fields. I don't want to yell about Justin Fields. I streamed over on the Patreon page last week. We streamed the 12 o'clock games. And Ohio State played at 12. And so it was like 3 hours of me yelling about how stupid Georgia is to let this guy go. I pretty much yell and scream and pace back and forth in here, whether it's the Georgia game or not. Like I find something, I don't know. But this week I'm streaming the 12 o'clock games for everybody. You don't have to be on Patreon this week for the 12 o'clock games. I'm streaming it on YouTube, the Georgia game. And then the Patreon stream will be at night. So Justin Fields plays at night. So the Justin Fields stream will be on Patreon. They wanted me to stream the primetime games this weekend. So I'm going to stream the primetime games on the Patreon page. But the 12 o'clock games, and there's some good games at 12 too, besides just the Georgia game. For those who have never watched one of my streams before, I have a bunch of TVs in here, so I watch as many games as I can. Clearly, if the Georgia game is on, then that's the game that I'm focused on mostly. But I still keep up with the rest of the games that are going on and make comments and observations on them and keep everybody updated with the scores and yell and scream about those too. But it tends to be mostly a Georgia thing. But Boston College at Clemson, so I'll be streaming for the ukulele game. We'll see what he looks like against Boston College with Trevor Lawrence being out. Of course, Georgia and Kentucky. Memphis at Cincinnati could be a good game too. I've been high on Cincinnati. They beat the bejesus out of SMU last weekend. I'm assuming they'll get over Memphis at home, but this is one of the tougher games remaining on their schedule. Michigan State at Michigan, Kansas State at West Virginia, Coastal Carolina at Georgia State, Iowa State at Kansas, Purdue at Illinois, Wake Forest at Syracuse. So all those games will be on during the noon stream on YouTube. And then for the Patreon stream at night, which if you want to look around the Patreon page, there's a link in the description of this video that'll take you there. And it kind of explains how it works on there if you want to, if you're interested or curious. If you want to get signed up on the Patreon page, that's a great way to support the show too. And I do a bunch of Patreon-only streams. And there's a lot of other perks and benefits, free shirts and hats, and there's all kinds of stuff. You just have to look around over there. But there's a link that'll take you over there. So we'll be streaming these night games on the Patreon page. So, of course, you got Mississippi State at Alabama, Ohio State at Penn State, Arkansas at Texas A&M. Don't y'all think that's going to be a good game? No one's really asked me about that, but y'all think there's any way Arkansas wins that game? I don't. I think Texas A&M is going to win, but it could be a close game. And Missouri at Florida, I think Florida's a much better team than Missouri, but, man, Missouri just has Florida's number. I think they're 4-4 since Missouri joined the SEC. Missouri and Florida are 4-4. Georgia's 7-1 against Missouri in that same time period. So for whatever reason, Missouri's had Florida's number. North Carolina at Virginia, Oklahoma at Texas Tech. There's some good games there, too. I won't be streaming for the afternoon games, but you got Notre Dame at Georgia Tech, Indiana at Rutgers, LSU and Auburn, Texas at Oklahoma State. Man, can Oklahoma State get over this? They still got Oklahoma down the road, but another hurdle here. Oklahoma State's the last undefeated team. You think they stay undefeated this weekend, or what do y'all think? Oklahoma State stays undefeated, or you think Texas finds a way to beat them? I don't know if anybody's going undefeated in the Big 12, so I feel like Oklahoma State's going to lose a game at some point. Will it be this week? I don't know. The Dean says, hey, Lou, one question. When are you going to hang that Herschel Walker jersey on the wall? Well, I did finally manage to get it in here, at least. See? It right there. So I did manage to get it in here. So next step is to actually get it up on the wall. So, oh, I just realized you couldn't see that. My bad. It's right there. So at least I got it in here finally. You know, that's the first step. Yeah, we'll get it up. We'll get it up on the wall soon. I got some more shelves I got to hang up in here too. You guys done sent me so many damn mini helmets. I ran out of shelves. I gotta go buy a couple more shelves. Hang the rest of these mini helmets up too. Do it now, he says. No, I'm not going to do it now. Is Bob the Barner going to move into the garage soon? Yeah. He keeps saying he's moving in there tomorrow. So, I don't know. It's been a lot of tomorrows that have gone by. I can't get the SEC channel, so is there any other channel I can watch the game on? No. If you don't have SEC Network, it's not on any other channel. Now, if maybe you have a friend or a relative or something that has the SEC Network, you could go there and watch it. You can go to a sports bar and watch it. Really what you need to do, find somebody that's got cable or satellite and tell them to give you their login to the app, and you watch it on your phone or your iPad or your computer. But no, it's not on any other channel if that's what you're asking. Upset pick. Georgia Tech beats Notre Dame. Stop, sir. No. I can't see Georgia Tech beating Notre Dame. I don't see that at all. That would shock me. You've been listening to Tool since the mid-'90s. Yeah, that's when they really got big, but I wasn't. I don't know that I'd ever heard of them until that friend of mine. Until I heard it with that friend of mine when Lateralis was out. Favorite tools. People ask me that all the time. I don't have a favorite, and if I told you a favorite, it might be different tomorrow. A couple of the ones that are always in my top 5 and never leaves are Vicarious and Eulogy. Those two never leave my top 5. The other 3 in my top 5, they change depending on the mood I'm in. When the new album came out, I liked a lot of those songs. Those became my favorites for a while. But Vicarious and Eulogy, those are two of my they're always in my top 5. Always. And Eulogy and Vicarious cost me a lot of money. But it's worth it because those videos wouldn't be the same without those songs. Stinkfish is a great song, yeah. See, when I first started making the Your Season Is Over videos and the Hype and Hate videos, there was no one watching. So I didn't care that those videos weren't monetized. That's not the case now. But those songs, at least to me, those two songs are so much a part of those two videos. I don't think those videos would be the same if I took the songs out. So I just bite the bullet on those, and that's why if you notice the Sunday video, which is the Your Season Is Over video, that's the one that's got eulogy in it, and the Hype and Hate video I do on Fridays, that's got Vicarious in it. And those are the two videos that take me the longest to make. And I upload those and play those as a premiere so we can all watch it live when it comes out. And that's why I post the PayPal link in there, because that hurts that I can't monetize those videos. But that's a decision I make. I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for me. That's a decision I make. I can live with that. I just don't think those videos would be the same without those songs. So I just let Tool have that money. I want another NCAA video game. Yeah, somebody was mentioning that earlier. When did you make the channel? I think I started this channel in 2014 or 2013. No, this channel I started this year. This is the second channel. I only do live shows on this channel. My main channel, I think, was 2014. I think is when I started. Yeah, no problem, Matt. Yeah, there was people calling in. I mean, sometimes 10 in a row. And what they were doing is they would call in, good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou, and they would just scream the N-word. Now, that sounds harmless and juvenile, and it is mostly. But what they would do, see, YouTube will shut your channel down for using those words. And so what they would do is they would call in, and for those of you that were around when this was going on, y'all can. I'm not exaggerating. You were a lot of you were here. Sometimes it'd be 3, 4, 5 calls in a row, and they would scream the N-word. And I played along with them in the beginning, and I would make fun of them a little bit and all that. And I think maybe I shouldn't have done that, because I think that might have been what they were looking for. Is attention, and I sort of not encouraged it, but I would clown them every time they would call in. I would type their phone number in the chat, all this kind of stuff, and I think that just made them want to do it more. Once I finally started ignoring them, they just quit. But anyway, the reason I started the second channel, they were calling up in these live shows where I take the phone calls, screaming the N-word, and I was trying my best. I would keep my finger on the mute button, and I would try my best to mute it before they would say it. But, every once in a while they would get one through. And what they were doing is anytime they would get the N-word on the air, then they would mass report the video to YouTube. So they were calling up, screaming the N-word, and then reporting the video for racist language. And I didn't want my channel to get shut down. So I started this channel. And I started doing the live shows on this channel, and I said, well, if they get this channel shut down, at least I still have my main channel, So that's where this channel came from. And a delay, people say that all the time, but a delay does no good. The delay is just on your end on as far as what you hear. Once something is said into this microphone or over the phone, which feeds through this microphone, there's no way for me to stop that from going out over YouTube. This isn't a radio situation. It's not that type of a delay. So once they say the N-word, that's it. There's nothing I can do there was nothing I could do to prevent all of y'all from hearing it. And once it's broadcast, they would then go mass report the video. That childish, middle schoolers messing around, So that's why I started this second channel. And I said, well, if they're going to get a channel shut down, it's not going to be my main channel. So that's why I did that. That's why I started the second channel. Make room for a play button. Maybe one of these days. I do think that eventually this channel could get to 100,000. I do. It's going to take a while. It's a grind. You have to remember too. Not everybody gets what I do. You know, I love those Friday videos. I love trash talk. There's not a lot of people that feel that way. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't feel that way though. You know, there's a lot of people who have seen one Uncle Lou video. Millions probably. And they go, I ain't never watching this guy again. You know, the way that a lot of people find me is they find a trash talking video that I've made about their team, right? You go on YouTube, you're looking up a Florida Gators video. You're a Florida Gators fan. You look up a Florida Gators video on YouTube and watch it, a highlight video, let's say. And then YouTube has the recommendations, right? And my video gets recommended and you click on it. Who the hell is this Uncle Lou guy? And it's me yelling about how Dan Mullen's wife is a hoe and all this, whatever, you know. And they click off and they never watch again. That happens a lot. And I just have to deal with that. I just have to accept that. I mean, you know, that's the type of channel I want. I enjoy trash talking too much to just not do it. Even though I know it slows down the growth of this channel, but I enjoy doing it too much. And I don't go to YouTube to find things I could find on TV. I don't personally do that. I'm not putting anybody down, but there are some people that have college football channels, and it's hard to tell the difference between them and an analyst on ESPN or something. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not for me. You know, I don't go to YouTube to see some middle of the road guy with no real opinions, no hot takes, just kind of a straight-laced stat. I don't go to YouTube for that. I go to YouTube to see somebody yell and scream and break something and piss and moan because their team lost. And so that's what I do on YouTube. But not everybody's that way, you know. And there's college football people on YouTube who've got way more subscribers than I do because they don't piss as many people off. And honestly, some of them are just really good at what they do, you know. And they're not doing it wrong versus me, I'm doing it right and they're doing it wrong. There's nothing like that. It's just two different styles of what we do, you know. And some people like it one way, some people like it the other, some people like both. You know, it is what it is. Can you do a Georgia show with Mark Rogers? I've been on Mark Rogers' channel every time he's ever asked me. I've gone on his channel every time. I've been on there, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. Now, as far as if you're talking about like how he does like an Ohio State show every Tuesday at 8 or whatever, and I don't know his schedule, but you know, and then he's got every whatever Friday he's got a Miami show, and I don't really have the time to commit to do that every week. You know, like he gets sports writers and stuff like that who don't have their own YouTube channel, and so they go on Mark Rogers once a week for an hour and talk. I can't do that. But every time he asked me to come on, he had me on in the off season to talk about Georgia's upcoming season and all that. You know, he's had me on several times. Every time he asks me, I go on there. One of the best conversations I ever had with Mark Rogers, I know a lot of y'all aren't able to listen to the morning show, and we do talk some football in the morning show, but it's a lot of non-football stuff too. Mark Rogers came on my morning show one time as my guest on the morning show, and we didn't talk any football at all, none. And I learned a lot about him, his family, where, you know, sort of how he got where he is now, things he had done in the past to sort of get him to where he is now, some different jobs he's had. Learned a little about his personal life and all that. Anyway, I enjoy that kind of, that was good. He's a good guy. He's a great guy, Mark Rogers. I like him a lot. And he's a hard-working dude, that Mark Rogers. He is a hard worker. But I'll say this, because I think I've said this before. Mark Rogers is right down the middle. He ain't doing no yelling and screaming. You know what I mean? He's totally he's taken a totally different approach to covering college football on YouTube than somebody like me. And again, it's not that I'm doing it right and he's doing it wrong, or he's doing it right and I'm doing it wrong. It's two different styles. You know, not very many people watch Mark Rogers and get mad at him. Right? You know what I mean? I mean, the worst thing Mark Rogers does, as far as in terms of making people mad, is his top 25. You know, oh, I can't believe you have such and such team ranked 8th or whatever. But, you know, he's not coming on and talking about Dan Mullen's wife. You know, that's my department. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's 12:30. Let's get an update on this game. Let's do that. Still 24-10, 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Fresno State on top. And Fresno State has the ball, 2nd and 10 at the Colorado State 47. So if y'all are going to watch this game, help me root on Fresno State. We need them to hang on and win the game. By any amount of points is fine. They were an underdog, so all they have to do is win, and I win the bet, so that would be good. But, hey, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. I had a good time. I hope y'all did too. Big shout out to everybody who helped support the show tonight through the, whether it was through the Super Chat or the PayPal, hitting the thumbs up, sharing the videos. Don't forget, go to the main channel too if you get a chance this weekend. Pick one of your favorite videos over the last few weeks or whatever and share it somewhere. Help me get to the next. I think it's 36,000 that I'm close to. I can't remember now, but I'm close to another, whatever the next 1,000 is. I don't like Murph Baldwin at all. He can kiss my ass. But, yeah, I got to get out of here. But I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I love you, and I'll be back at 8 in the morning for the morning show. Don't forget Mukbang Chess Hall coming up on the morning show in the morning. All right, you guys take it easy.